Hello and welcome to As Long as Everybody's Having Fun for session 3. I'm Mr. Max Boivin and I'm joined once again by my co-host, Phil the Trill. How you doing,
Woo!
Phil?
I'm doing well. Good to see you again, Max. I got my
Thank you,
this is a
thank you.
vintage Hawaiian shirt, by the way. I don't know. I
I
just
like
want
it
to
a lot.
make a point. It's vintage.
Oh yeah. Suits you
Nice.
well. I like the color and stuff like that. I like the design, right? Nice like burgundy, I would call it. Would you call it that? The
I
big
would
debate
call
about
it a
maroon.
I'd call it a burgundy because it
Yeah.
sounds very luxurious,
It's almost like
sensual.
some people always call it maroon, and that it's almost there, right? I would be agreed. I think for me, maroon is a
Um,
little more brownish than reddish.
I'd say watch your mouth. It's burgundy.
It's burgundy. I agree with that. All right, there you go.
I'm also wearing my burgundy sweatpants with it, so
Oh, I'm a big
there's
fan of
gotta be.
burgundy. The burgundy color. One of my headband is burgundy. No, I had the zebra one today.
Yeah, you got a great headband.
Thank
How's
you.
your Muay Thai going?
It's going rough.
Yeah,
Pushing a bit much, and I'm sore everywhere. I got bruise everywhere, but I love it.
yeah,
you know. It's I went there for a new physical challenge. I'm always like trying to push myself, and I'm getting it.
yeah.
Yeah.
On the opposite side, I had a birthday this weekend,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, my wife made a really
Oh,
large
yeah. It's true.
cake.
Really large cake.
Yeah, it's like a
Nice.
triple layer cake with this like whipped cream meringue
Is
frosting
there
and
somebody like
maraschino
hidden
cherries
inside?
in it. No, it was just more cake.
More cake. Oh,
I checked.
oh. Well,
It's good.
still
Yeah.
good, I guess. Yeah.
I'm glad I got to eat it versus clean it off someone, I guess. I don't know.
So,
But
how did that make you?
I'm 46 now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not a notable year. It's not a
Feels
notable.
feels like last year so far.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe she's saving the stripper and the cakes for the 50s. For the big 50.
That must be
Yes.
it.
Yeah. This week in gaming, we had a session 0 this
We had a
week.
couple of gaming sessions actually.
Did we? Oh yes, since yeah, we did that's true, the ghost game,
Afterlife.
afterlife game. Yeah.
I have a
Was
lot
yeah, we
I have a lot to say about that game actually.
let's talk about it for a while.
Okay. I really enjoyed it in some ways. In other ways, I was confused.
Yes,
Um,
the same.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it was an interesting exercise for me. Like it's so different. It stretch
Yeah.
your role play muscle in a sense, right?
Mhm.
It's a new and different way to engage with the hobby in a sense. So,
I'll say this, I want to play it again
mhm.
because I want to play it in a more clear
Yeah.
because I have a much more clear view of what I want to do in the game now. And that's like if you guys didn't watch the game, I would say check it. It's interesting. It's definitely a good showcase of the game if
Mhm.
that's what you want to watch, a showcase
Yep.
of the game.
Yep.
Um, but I liked the idea of doing this collective consciousness, and
Yep.
like some people are involved and some people aren't.
Yes,
Although I
I think
don't
like in
know if that's
the
how it was supposed to be, but I feel like that's
I
how you
think
should play it.
I think in the discussion that we had after the game,
Mhm.
right? I think like it's a strong basis there
Yeah.
for some if you're looking for something very different than what we usually do. But I think in the conversation that we had at the end of the game, if you watch the session, like the last maybe 20 minutes, half an hour,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of like good suggestion that came from you, maybe from me, from people in chat, right? About like, oh, maybe the power, using
Yeah.
entropy a bit more, having this thing that we can witness like in a dream state what's happening in other people's scenes, so we can try to manifest there.
I'd
I think
agree
that
with
would
that.
solve a lot of problem. Yeah,
I would say watch it for the after session tweakers at
yeah,
least. That would be the
yeah.
first reason to watch it.
And if I was if I like I would be interested to replay it with kind of like thinking a bit more about those change, right?
Mhm.
We
With
implementing some.
the shared vision of the game,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
would
and
be
also like like I really like the idea. I forgot what maybe it was like Thing Skeleton or maybe it was somebody in the chat that said like, well, if we try to manifest, like we should have like a way, even if we fail the willpower roll,
yeah, to
maybe
take
like
the entropy.
taking entropy and like still manifesting and stuff like that. Uh, just so we can actually play, right? So we're not like sideline all the time.
Or
Uh,
get a turn frustratingly banging on the walls of reality and like having a dialogue with the other observers of the scene, you know what I mean? Like that's potentially you
mhm,
could take a turn out there. I don't know.
maybe.
Better
But
than
anyway,
just sitting around.
and then we had like a session 0 for a game of Cowpuncher,
Yeah,
uh, which we didn't know before we started session 0, but that's ended up what it being.
yeah,
It's a game I've been wanting to play for a long time, and I'm glad that we're gonna do that.
yeah. And
But
we've gone off the rails for the
yes,
session 0 already in a private Discord chat. So maybe we should bring people up
yeah.
to speed a little bit. Go ahead.
Yes, because we wanted to like we're gonna do like kind of like this troop play, domain play. So we're all gonna be people like the domain is gonna be like a range. We're all gonna be like have a character that is linked to that range in the
Mhm.
range in a family, and then we're gonna have other characters and stuff like that. But then like I guess we cannot square the circle. Like maybe like just like well, I just want to play a character. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to have this, and that's for me as well. Like because I'm not really like that's what I invest in those in the subby for. It's about character. Like I want to figure out who those characters are and how they feel, and yeah,
That's going to be a really looking forward to talking about that with Arch here in a minute. Special guest Arch Master soon.
yeah.
But
If
yeah,
you
yeah,
let's bring
and
him in now.
okay, let's bring him in. We're
Let's
almost
bring
done
him
with what
now.
we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, almost in the news. We can. Hello, Arch.
Hey,
How you
Arch.
Hello.
doing?
Glad to
So
be here.
Matthias, the
The
Archmaster from the channel like Archie Trave, like it's not a surprise, right? Like we're it's in the title of the video.
hold,
You know,
hold on, hold on,
and the link
Arch
is in the
Master. He's not
description.
good at intros. I'd like to introduce the illustrious master himself, from Architrave Gaming, Matthias. Thanks for coming on to our show.
You're very welcome. Matthias from Architrave Gaming is happy to be here.
Matthias.
There you go.
Sorry.
So you can accuse me, but like you don't even say the name properly.
You mispronounce Architrave and Matthias, but that's okay. That's why I'm
Oh
here.
my god.
I am not a
I
reference.
did call you master though at that.
Correct.
So I feel like that
I'm
gets
The
some
link
stoked
for
to be here. I feel great.
Architrave Gaming channel is in the description below. So you can, if you like what he has to say, or if you're curious about, or if you want to see like nice outfit, you can you can follow his channel.
If you just want to see a good outfit, that's really the only reason to watch me.
Yeah.
I
If
dress
you
well.
want to watch a sharp dressed man, well, you're not gonna find that here. Well, maybe Phil tonight. He made an effort.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe.
Also, Architrave's got a great world building. I haven't delved entirely through your catalog yet, Arch. It's turning into an interview. I want to talk to you about
Yeah.
characters first, but whatever. And I know that you kind of tout yourself as like you focus a lot on world building, and I've seen that as you introduce like the world of Absalon. Is that right?
Apsildon.
Absildon. And it seems super cool. So if you guys like world building, I'd definitely check out Archmaster just for that. But he's got a lot of good ideas too.
But we'll get into that more later, right? I'm sure. But before we go into since we're like talking about like the true play and the and domain play, do you have any thought on that?
Oh, absolutely. You say troop play and domain play?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, both of them. So my whole design philosophy and goal in the game that I'm making and all of that is essentially trying to not just like it sounds trite and lame when you say, oh yeah, I'm trying to do everything all at once, right? It's like, well, then you're going to fail. It's really not everything all at once. It's I'm trying to synthesize what instead of like, oh, this is a game. You have this this certain wing of RPGs, of players, where they say, oh yeah, it's more story focused and narrative focused. And when you're doing world building, you should world build for the story. And when you're doing game design, you need to decide what the game is about first and then design the game about that thing. Well, that's a fine way of doing it if you like that. But I choose a totally different direction. My goal, my emphasis, the whole reason that the whole experience I'm promoting is immersion. It's diegetic immersion, where you are a character in the world. So how can the game be about one thing if you're in a world? A world can be about a billion things, right? So the system I'm building and the world I'm building needs to support doing a lot of things. And so troop play, domain play, all of that, individual, like running a business if you want, and, delving, and all of it needs to be supported in one way or another. So I'm kind of a cross between like the hardcore 4D role-playing crowd, keep everything super simple because we want to role play. And I like the immersion part of that. And I'm halfway between that and Alexander McCrease with his Adventure Conquer King system, where the world has to be completely simulated and fleshed out, and you need to be able to have a mechanical basis for everything. And so those seem like they're in total contradiction to each other, but I think I'm finding a way to do it, and that's one of the reasons I'm so excited.
That's that's super interesting. Like that's kind of what Max is trying to do as well, right? With Bastard Sword, you're trying to introduce a more of a complex system into a immersive.
Like because I'm also working on my game. It's called Bastard Sword, and that's the circle I'm trying to square. Like, because I like mechanics, and I think like I like game design. I think like role-playing game design is such an interesting puzzle, because you want to have like some depth, but you also want to be like easy enough that you can resolve it without computer, without anything, like, and without like breaking the immersion. So that's something I've been trying to do, like trying to reconcile having like a little bit more crunch, because we often go to a rule light system because they don't get in the way of role play. But I want to say, like, can we have crunch that would support role play instead of getting in the way of role play?
You can, and it has.
I believe too as well.
yeah. Like we're going for it. I think I've found it.
I'm not convinced.
At least I'm on the path toward it. I really do. I'll talk about it if you want me to.
No,
talk about it.
No,
sure.
We're derailing.
But before
going off the rails,
let's go to the let's do a little news roundup, like for this week in fun important news. Right, there you go. Am I saying that right? Am I doing that right, Phil?
It's fun important news. Yeah,
fun important news.
Yeah.
So what happened in the role-playing hobby this week? I don't know if you heard about that, but like there's a UC San Diego. So the university, like there's some researcher at the UC San Diego, University of San Diego, that use D&D 5e to test the combat in D&D 5e to test the LLMs, the ChatGPT. They figured out it was a good way to have test LLM. We talk a lot about AI too, right? Like, and that's a big fucking topic now. But they figure out like the having them do D&D 5e combat was a good way to see if they can interact with more complex system over a longer period of time, right? They decided, they figure out it was maybe like a better test case than many of other test cases they would for those AI, and that they were not very good at it, because at first it works well apparently, but sooner or later, like, or rather sooner than later, they start to forget and lose the focus and not concentrate on the rule anymore. And I think that's very
have you ever tried to role play with the AI chatbot?
No, my wife has, and one of my players at the table today, just a couple hours ago, was talking about how he was doing it. But
they're just so bad at it. It just like breaks immediately. They don't know how to do anything.
Yeah,
it's like a crappy choose your own adventure. Is pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather solo play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'll just like lose track of everything. There's just no consistency. So I figured, so that seems like it would be a good way to train.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're figuring out with like using role-playing game like, or D&D 5e, especially the combat now. Like they said they want to try like more like for longer campaign afterward, but like they had a bunch of like AI agent talking to each other. So like one of them was a GM and some of them were the player. And it's interesting to see, because like it's true that what we do when we're engaged in those role plays is a fairly complex task. We have like those complex systems that we need to keep track of, but we have the role play side as well. We need to remember what happened. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was interesting that they used that as a benchmark for LLM.
I mean, I've never seen a good one, so.
And it's a good opportunity for us to give us a pat on the back that that we can do it. So AI is still AI is not going to take our job as role player.
We haven't been replaced yet. They'll have fun for us one day, but not today.
Yeah.
Only when your GM is in charge of everything, they probably do that. I bet if a passive player is probably okay with a good LLM. What do you think?
Um,
Mm.
passive. I
Not
think
great.
5e players, I think passive players are good for 5e in general because 5e isn't designed to require anything from you. And so if we're in our circle and we want real active, proactive, engaged roleplay of any type, I don't think most players are really suited to that, let alone an LLM.
Hot take.
Yeah.
How dare you, Arch?
It's
I
not a
totally
moral
agree.
failing. It's just it's really the culture of play surrounding 5e is that the GM re-narrates actions and everything is done for you, and you're encouraged to, you're actively discouraged from doing anything but putting in the slightest detail. I want to attack. It's like, all right, the GM will take care of everything else for you,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't require anything of you, and therefore there's no actual immersion and engagement.
I don't know if I wouldn't say like it's definitely in the culture. I wouldn't say it's in the system necessarily. Like there's nothing like in the system that say that. There is though in the product that they release, in the adventure, in the module and stuff like that, because like now like it's all like, oh, Mario Trumpet's coming out again with his putting his dollar in. I think
Paying
it's
his
gonna
dues.
fund.
Appreciate you, Mario Trumpet.
That's very nice of you. That's gonna help subsidize the StreamYard subscription.
Cool.
But yeah, and so the new product, they're very like story driven, and they're shy away so much from any conflict of any meaningful conflict, right? Because they're
any
so
meaningful
worried about
conflict.
that.
I think
Well, this is why I'm sorry to cut you off, Rich. This is why I was just going to big you up a little bit. This is why I want to bring you on, because you seem very much of the opinion that system is really important to immersion, and I agree with that as far as like, but it's almost like you take it to the extreme level, which is why it's interesting. Why I wanted to talk about it.
So there are three things about 5e, just off the top of my head, that make it not conducive to immersion. One is all of the stuff that doesn't make any sense. You regain all your HP when you sleep. All the insanity, right? I could go on and on, but that's enough. It's the unrealistic, the silly parts of the system. Number two, it's the forward, the introduction, where they tell you this is a collaborative storytelling game, not a role-playing game. Of course, they don't say not a role-playing game, but they're really on opposite ends. They're two totally different hobbies. Telling a story together is not the same thing as actually role-playing. And so it's them telling you how to play, right? And thirdly, as you said, it's the adventures. It's that here's the railroad for you. Here's these pre-planned story. Everything about the official Wizards of the Coast 5e is storytelling, low effort, just sit back and relax and we'll do it for you.
I remember like at some point I was doing like a video reaction on the Legend of Myth channel, like with Max Liao. It was before GMI when the Rendo RPG live stream, something like that, and it was like a video put out by Wizard of the Coast with Chris Perkin giving advice to people, and his advice was literally railroading. So it was driving me mad, insane. So it's crazy. Like Chris Perkin, right? Like one of the lead designer of like fucking D&D 5e and stuff like that. And it's so insane how many RPG designer don't understand the core concept of role play, in my opinion, right? It's like,
yeah,
and that's why so many miss the mark. But we'll talk about some of them soon in the news. They're gonna come too as well.
Yeah.
But before that, I want to talk about like Hasbro being sued, and that's more like a Magic the Gathering stuff. They're being sued by the investor for basically like for ruining the value of Magic the Gathering by overprinting, and therefore of Hasbro, because WotC's being the big cash cow of Hasbro at the moment. And it was very interesting because like WotC really screwed up like a Magic the Gathering. I'm not a Magic player. I played when I was a lad in the early 90s, but it's an amazing IP. Like it's very valuable in a sense, right? A very big fan base. They just had their 30-year anniversary, and WotC bundled up, and WotC also like screwed up the 50-year anniversary of D&D. So they have like those two huge IP, and they're so mismanaged, and making like nobody happy. None of the core audience happy anyway. Now in Magic the Gathering, you can have like card with like, and I'm not even joking about that, like with the Universe Beyond. Are you like a Magic player, Arch?
No, not at all.
No?
I can only afford one money sink in my life.
But now, like with the Universe Beyond, which is now apparently like 50% of the release, you have like they're gonna bring like SpongeBob and character from The Office in your Magic game. And Spider Pig. I'm not like, and that sound like silly that I'm making that up. It's true. I'm not even like exaggerating for effect. Those are really like actual truth. Like
It's
you can have
one
like
thing
I
to
don't know,
add.
Michael Scott in your Magic game.
It's one thing to add Lord of the Rings, but
Yeah.
like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
the-
Optimus Prime, right?
like so when in any activity you need immersion, like you know,
Yeah.
the flow state, the zone focus. It's not necessarily fictional escapist character immersion, but some level of immersion, like, oh yeah, I can do this. If you're playing Magic the Gathering with your mana and your whatnot, there is a certain narrative there. It's not a role-playing game by any stretch. I don't believe role-playing games exist, but it is giving a promise of some level of transportation to another world, to a fictional world, even if slightly. And you completely wreck that with a SpongeBob card.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And like when I see that, like because I'm interested in the hobby, and because What's is a big part of that, because of that, then I get sometimes some Magic news and stuff like that. So I always find it interesting when I see those kind of thing, right? And I like I'm flabbergasted by what they're doing to this game. Oh, and like Nicolas say, Magic is the Fortnite of card game, and I believe they did have it's D&D actually that have a collaboration with Fortnite recently. But I didn't put that in the news, but yeah, like D&D did the collaboration with Fortnite. So
Seriously?
speaking of which, yes.
They had spells, or what did they do? Do you know what they
I
did?
guess they put some D&D stuff in Fortnite, right?
Well, that's
But
a whole
like
lot better than
anything
the
goes in.
reverse.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That's
Because
brand.
Fortnite is already
Okay.
like
the reverse
Gonzo
would
and
be-
I was like, no
Yeah.
way. Did they do
Yeah.
okay, reverse. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, Kim
And-
Kardashian's in Fortnite, so there's no
Maybe I
rails
should
on
check it out.
Fortnite.
Do you know how many skins they have now? It's gotta be like 1 billion skins.
Like
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead skins.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's like Peter Griffin, like it's completely Gonzo, like anything goes, right? Like there's, but that's there's no
Cash
like in
grab.
Magic, you had some kind of lore. You had like people, people like made video of lore of Magic, right? With going all with the
Yeah, it's,
Planeswalker
like,
and Nicol
interesting,
Bolas,
and
the Old Dragon, right? Like
it was like
I don't
dripping
think
out of
Yeah.
the flavor text. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
there's so much to discover. And
The
I was
mystery,
like, oh,
yeah.
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are here. Like, oh,
Yeah, now like all you just like, oh yeah, with the Planeswalker, so you can just go to the different. Yeah, but like now it become too silly, right? It become goofy, and you cannot get invested anymore, right? Dwight, what is fucking name
Schrute.
like from the
Dwight
Office?
Schrute.
Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Dwight
the
There you
Schrute
go.
casts a spell on you.
yeah. No, I'm gonna attack with my Dwight Schrute. It just become fucking stupid.
The way you say it's okay. I'm gonna attack with my Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Perfect delivery.
Well, he's a planeswalker for sure.
And still talking about WotC, right? They also hired two new designer this week. Like we talked last show about like James Eck that they hired.
Mhm.
Now they announced two new designer, Erin Roberts and Taylor Navarro. Two women that work on the Radiant Citadel product. So we know, like, that's why, like, I think that this link also with what they're doing with what they're doing with Magic, right? Because like MTG, because like the Radiant Citadel wasn't a successful product at all. It didn't sell well. Nobody liked it. And now, like, that's the people they're bringing in, right? They lost a lot of like their designer, like they lost Mike Mills, they lost Crawford, they lost Perkins. I love the old designer they have, and now like those people are being replaced by those activists and those people that are making this content that people don't like. So when I see like the investors saying like, now you're damaging the value of your brand,
I agree.
I could see that being extended to D&D as well.
The only problem though is like shareholders is kind of a broad term, right? So I don't know that you necessarily have to be a stockholder to be a shareholder.
Yes.
You do?
You do? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, a share is a stock.
I don't think that's what shareholders means.
I think there's a difference
Yes.
between share and stock.
Shareholder just means you have some sort of investment in the company. Like
No, that's stakeholder you're talking about.
stakeholder is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
The
Well,
stock of a
never
company is like the collection of all the share.
yeah.
So
yeah,
you have
okay.
a share of a stock.
I was just missing. I did the wrong word.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you're going to settle with one shareholder, I guess do you settle with all your shareholders, or like is everyone in a class action lawsuit together?
No, because like that's they're part of the accusation. There's fraud and stuff like that. Because there's also like
Yeah.
for Chris Cox, so that would mean like the CEO. Like I guess if they settle, that won't go to court, and then they can make all kind of deal they want. But if it goes to court and they found guilty, the CEO cannot be CEO anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, and like what Sugar say there, like on Rumble, you say like shareholder lawsuit often or class. That's usually often what happened. Some shareholders gonna start a lawsuit, and then they're gonna turn it into a class action lawsuit from all shareholder.
Right. So there's not, because I remember seeing a video about this topic, and it said basically like you open yourself to other suits, but I mean like, wouldn't all the shareholders be in the same class action lawsuit? Like surely you don't have to pay over.
That's usually often time for my understanding. That's often time how it turns out.
Yeah.
But you need somebody like to start it, kind of.
No,
so
I don't want to make
very early in the thing, so it's gonna be something to follow.
I don't want to make the show about my poor understanding of finance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
in other news, there was a Godzilla role-playing game that has been announced that's going to use card instead of dice. Are you excited about that?
Interesting. I love kaiju as a setting. I think that it's underrepresented. Isn't there? There's like one kaiju game.
There's a few of them.
I wanted to run like a game that was like the Cloverfield. I want to run a game in like Cloverfield world. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I don't know about it. Yeah, no, of course not.
Basically, it's a kaiju game. So,
really?
It's like alien kaiju come to Earth. Anyways, I think being kaiju would be cool because it's almost like a post-apocalyptic game, and there's no like zombies. You just kind of dodging.
Yeah, but you're not playing Godzilla in that. You're playing like people. Like,
yeah, I don't know if there's a game there. I don't know if you can get a story out of that.
Play Godzilla. Yeah, with your emotion.
No, you're not. Oh, so you're saying in the game you're the kaiju?
No, you're not. I'm saying you're not. You're fighting the kaiju.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. I want to be like a survivor of that world versus like
a
Terry guy. Yeah, I don't know.
If they make a kaiju game in the style of Earth Defense Force 2077 and just make it silly and wacky, I'd play that.
Yeah.
There you go. Like Nicolas says, I want to be the kaiju. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, like how you roleplay kaiju outside of just like destroying everything.
Yeah, their goals are very mysterious. Like Godzilla,
or very simplistic,
or extremely
simplistic. Mad and you smash.
I'm a reaction from nature. What does that mean?
Yeah,
I smash.
J.K. Rowling signed a deal with Upper Deck and to make Harry Potter card game. And it makes a lot of people mad. I'm just not gonna. You can imagine who.
Some people mad. It's not as many
serious Harry Potter fans that don't feel like it should be cheapened.
Yeah, no, they're mad at Upper Deck. For Drive-thru RPG increases the print-on-demand price by 4 to 5%. We talked about it before,
imagine owning your own IP and profiting off of it. How dare she?
You said Drive-thru increased it by 45%.
4 to 5%.
Okay, I was like
4 to 5%. Like it's gonna be I think like 4% for like black and white, 5% for color, or the opposite. I don't have the detail here, but like so expect to pay more for your print on demand on Drive-thru RPG.
Yeah,
which
seems with the times
less than $1.
To be honest, I'm not that mad about it because you know everything is going more expensive. Was to be expected, right? You know, paper is getting much more expensive.
I don't know if you've been paying attention to silver prices lately. It's almost like dollars aren't as good.
That got quite cheaper since yesterday. You know, I paid a lot of attention to that, like big fucking crash.
Yeah.
We're
Anyways,
talking about like this role-playing designer that don't understand the role play. Matt Colville got a new Kickstarter that finished above $2 million.
Another one?
Supplement, yeah, it
Isn't
ended like
he
on
like?
the January 5th, so I'm a bit late on that.
Did he
But
finish the other one?
Draw Still, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's finished. I guess Draw Still is finished now. People have like
Yeah,
received
it's
their
out.
book, or yeah.
Okay.
But
Right
now,
on.
now that's a supplement for Draw Still. So that the supplement for Draw Still can crack $2 million. I guess there's still some interest in the game,
yeah.
right? It's not
I
done, I
mean,
guess.
hey,
It's called Crack
keep
the
going,
Nut.
Matt Colville. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more investment in Matt Colville as a brand than
That
any particular
yeah,
product.
that is his fifth Kickstarter that goes over $1 million.
Wow.
This one went over 2 million. We know that Draw Still went over like 5 million, I believe, something like that. So yeah, he's grabbing the bag, I guess. Good for
Big
him.
bucks in the industry.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And
Not
so
my
it's gonna
cup
be like a bunch of
Draw
shit
Still.
for Draw Still. Yeah, me neither. Like I think it's missing the mark quite a bit. Talking about
Yeah.
rules that break immersion.
Yeah,
You're gonna find
meta
them there.
rules.
It's no
Yes.
arch. It's no arches and avatars. I can tell you that.
No. We're changing the name, by the way, but we'll get
Yeah,
to that
I
later.
know. I want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
I got
So-
I have an even better suggestion for you.
Oh,
So-
I'm all for
Oh,
it. I want to hear it.
So it's gonna be like new race, new class, some encounter, all that kind of shit, right? So just like basically like more stuff to clutter your game, right?
Clutter your game.
Finally.
You get it, like he was saying like all proud. There's gonna be like 20 race over that, right? It's like it's gonna bring a total of race to 20. Yeah, you don't need that much.
I almost got one round of combat done. Thank God.
Almost.
Yeah. I barely had time to scroll on TikTok while during your taking your turn. And they also MCDM also announced a new RPG called Crow or Crows.
As
Forgot it
in
was
the
plural or not.
Crow, Brandon Lee.
No. Well,
Okay.
yes, but no. No, it
Spell
is
the
it's yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same. I guess the same bird
The same
inspired it.
word.
I don't know if I don't remember if it was like crow plural or singular. I didn't put the S there, but like for me it doesn't mean nothing. Putting the S at the end of word, like that's not a concept I master. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Space really says crows.
Even if they're there, you're not really saying the S.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like played. It's supposed to be a Grimdark OSR. It's gonna be played with D6 and D10. It's a dungeon delver, and that goes also like, in a sense, very like board gamey because they're gonna have like inventory slot that
Okay.
also serve as your health tracker, and your experience is
familiar.
based on the loot. What?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's
Naive does that.
and
Doesn't Shadowback
Crown.
have like a cool
the
inventory?
Crown and Skull. Crown and Skull does that.
Okay.
No, I don't know this one. And it's gonna be like your XP is based on loot. It's the same designer that designed Draw Still, James
Intricasso.
Introcasto. Yeah. And they didn't announce a release date yet. And we know like the Draw Still release date was
Bit delayed.
quite
Bit of a
far
delay.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long one, so we don't know when that's gonna come out. But that's basically the news I had for you this week.
Is that a Kickstarter, Crow?
Not yet.
Okay.
I would be surprised if it wouldn't come to Kickstarter at some point, because that's a model that we established work for them quite well.
Yeah.
But
If Intricasso has anything to say about it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll see.
I look forward to seeing it. It would be interesting if they could actually simplify it and show their ability to design something the opposite to Draw Steel. That would show a breadth of designability.
Yeah.
But still, if it's not, does it role play? If it's not, if it doesn't get out of the way or even facilitate role play, then not for me.
And I'm always also happy to see people like experiment with new rule set and stuff like that. Not always like not do another clone or not just doing like another spin-off or something like. So that's something that I even if it's not for me, even if I don't like necessarily like the direction the hobby takes, sometimes I think they lean too much into the board gamification of it, like too much into like gimmicks.
Well,
But
I think that I hear you. I'm kind of evolving my view of it all as more of
Yep.
a there is the role playing game, and then there is the war game role playing game.
Yep.
They're very different looking products. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But they both have their own artistic design
Yeah.
quality, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So,
And then you have the, social beer and pretzel game,
yeah.
Yeah.
which
But
is
Party
okay.
game.
Find a role
I
play.
think that's also like a good segue to go into our topic. So like in the interview talking with Arch. So let's go there. Let's talk fun. All right. So we're doing now because that's what we're
Hide
doing
your
always.
hand. It can't be in front of the watermark. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hello, Archmaster.
Hello,
Elias.
Archie.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good to meet you again.
Yeah. So like I said, I think that's a good way to get into the topic because
I have thoughts if you want to hear them.
Go ahead. Give us
go,
the spiel. I want to hear about your version of initiative, your version of map making, all that cool stuff
Cool.
that
Well,
I've heard you talk about.
First, let's start with something that's been on my mind since a while ago, where you mentioned you just touched on it again, where there's the war gaming role playing game and the role playing game, and I think I said something about it that get out of the way or facilitate, right?
Mhm.
That I think it's possible. We've talked about your game that you're trying to make, that you are making, and you said, I want to synthesize the two, and I said it is possible. And here's the thing. Well, one thing I disagree with a lot of the hardcore 4D crowd is that they want really rules light systems because they want the system to get out of the way of the role play. And so they're just role play first, right? This is Black Lodge Games as well. They're like role play. I want the system to be consistent, but to be small. To me, instead of telling the system to get out of the way, I want the system to actually facilitate the role play. I want the system to demand role play. I want role playing to be so inbuilt into the system that it's difficult to play the system and not make the choice your character would make and not actually think about them. That's my goal. That's what I'm going for. And by making by using what I call the Colonnade engine, which is the framework for my system, by using that, which is just one way the way I do it, you actually it runs through everything, the action economy, the effort system, all of it. It runs through the whole thing, and it essentially focuses your mind over and over and over again on, what is the character thinking? What is the character feeling? How is this affecting the character? Actual like physical abilities of the character and what they can do. And so far from like, just make the system move out of the way so that we can role play. If you can find a way to have them both, then you also get your crunch with your role play, and they support each other. That's what I'm going for. That's the whole shtick, the whole gist, where instead of saying, well, here's the system, and you have to have really good players and GM who really want to role play, and then you'll have a good time. It's like, here's the system. It will make you good GMs and players if you follow the system, right? That is this thing that no one has done before, and that's what I'm going for.
I've seen a lot of the your videos, and you describe like these basic mechanics that you find in these other games, like the short rest and the healing surges and stuff like that, and then you tie those into like magical reasons or some sort of like character ability where it's like so you're triggering these things versus it being, I guess, some sort of clunky attached on thing that makes no sense within the game. But then this most recent, new to me, I should say, because I don't know that it's not your most recent video, but I saw that you decided to kind of shift gears and make it more of a system that you can plug multiple worlds into. And now I'm wondering, can you do that? Because those archons, which are like this archetype or profession or whatever, they seem like pretty critical to implementing those systems. You know what I'm saying? So like when you move fiction over to, I guess, a modern game or something, I'm not sure what this other one, like, how do you bring those powers over? I hope we didn't go too far in the weeds right away, but
you're fine. I love it. Anything you want to talk about. So with my system, I started out 4 years ago with more of a, well, I want to appeal to the 5e crowd, and I want it kind of everyone can have their homebrew, easy to hack, easy to do all that. But the more I discovered about my world and system, it really doesn't feel like I'm building it. It feels like I'm discovering it. The more I discover about it, the more I see it is very opinionated. It is very like, this is the world and whatnot. This is the mechanics. This is the conflict, the tension, etc. And that's actually better because it's compelling. The world we're building, the Lord is so generous to just give us this massive amount of inspiration in 4 years. My brain cannot contain it. But the inspiration and what this world is turning into is archetypal. It speaks to the psychic archetypes, the explorer, the warrior, the king, the mage, which, there's a book called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover that kind of talks about this. There are lots of books on psychology. Everything is about 4 archetypes, 4 pillars of reality: freedom, power, status, and mystery. It's very archetype. It's very ingrained into our minds, our bodies. Like, you have, your 4 main body parts, your 4 limbs, your head, your chest, your arms, your legs. It's all over the world. When you know it, when you know what this is, you start to see it everywhere. And when I started building the world and the system and just discovering things about it, it all just fits in this stuff that like scratches an itch. It says, this is archetypal. This is real. This is talking about a spiritual truth, a literal spiritual reality beyond the mundane, but that runs through the mundane. And it's just so important that I can't just throw that all away and say, I'm going to make this kind of setting neutral and let you do what you want. It's like, no, I'm going to choose to put in things like the archons that are compelling and that are real. I know I got totally off topic to your actual point. The actual thing is, it's not designed for other people to plug their worlds into. Of course, anyone can. People are going to homebrew all the time, right? People homebrew 5e, they homebrew whatever they want. You can get something like, the Mistborn RPG and homebrew it if you want. No one's stopping them. But it's not designed to be a kind of kitchen sink world where you can just mix and match and plug your own stuff. It is designed to be compelling. It is designed to suck you in, where you look at it and you say, this is the most interesting thing I've ever seen. This feels like this is something I was going to say before the stream started. My world, the more I think about it, the more I build it, the more I discover it, really, it feels like the root of all fantasy. It feels like the fountain. It's the source. I know it's not actually, but it feels like I'm getting to something that explains all other fantasy, and even a bit explains like myths and whatnot, which is just fantasy. It says, oh, like, here's Absalon orcs. Absalon orcs work like this. This is why Tolkien and Elder Scrolls and Forgotten Realms, this is why their orcs are like that. Those all essentially stem from Absalon. I know it's reversed because Absalon comes later, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, this feels like the explainer of all fantasy, the root of all fantasy, the combination of all fantasy, but not in a clunky way like I grab all the other fantasy and combine it. The combination in the sense of this is the root that connects all of them. And so yeah, it has multiple worlds within it, but it's not. Yes, platonic ideal of fantasy. Thank you, Trumpet. It does feel like the platonic ideal of fantasy. It is so compelling. I look at it and my heart races when I think about stuff. It's like, this is just so good. I wrote this down a year ago. I've looked at it every single time. I look at this idea and reread it. I'm just floored with how cool it is. Right? It happens so many times, and if I can just get it out there and get enough money and investors and supporters that I can quit my job and actually, work on it full time, that I can actually show you that I'm not blowing hot air. It's actually really, really cool.
No, are you designing? Before we go in, I just also say thank you to Zonolar for this is €5 saying happy to see Archmaster accept the invitation. More people should be open to discourse on how we can get more out of this hobby. All right. Well, obviously, I agree with that. That's what we're trying to do.
Thanks, Zonolar.
Yeah.
I think that's a great approach, by the way, for designing anything. Just like assume you have the wisdom. You know what I mean? Just like I say that a lot with my kids too. Just assume you know everything, and then just build it, and then just like trust your gut. You know what I mean? Almost. And then when you make the mistake, it's like you could tell. And then it's like you're training your gut almost. I don't know if it's kind of like that, but I'm a firm believer in just like, if you have especially if you have a really clear vision, just like pretend that everything is right and get it on paper. I think that's great, man. And I don't know why I thought it was just the last video I watched of yours that said something about like you can plug in these other settings, but and it surprised me. That's why I brought it up, because your setting is so ingrained into facilitating these mechanics and facilitating your system And I really liked your explanation of it that I recently watched with this idea like blood and dreams and stuff. It's just so cool.
It's so archetypal.
It's so cool, man.
Blood and dreams are essentially opposites in reality. You have this blood.
Yeah.
It's visceral, it's real, it's life and death, it's physical material. It is everything that is of this world. And then dream is everything ethereal, everything thought, everything spiritual. It's the absolute opposite. It's all the mind, the will, the intention, imagination, what could be, potentiality. They're two complete opposites. And the fact that you have this dream world at first, and then the blood, the waking blood comes in and changes the dream world. And that's what the first central conflict of like the first age of the world. There were 13 ages, and they all have their own conflicts. It's just like, this feels archetypal. This feels like we're talking about something important.
You guys need to watch Ark, just real quick, Max. You guys need to watch Ark's videos, because I watched a bunch of them, and now like I just want to talk to him about his videos. But it's like, if you're just hearing it for the first time, I don't know what the hell you're even listening to.
I've mostly watched this video like when he's talking about like RPG philosophy and mechanics and like that, because like I'm definitely not the lore guy, right? Like I fucking hate world design.
But you love Session Zero and lore creation. What are you talking about? You're a Session Zero guy.
But I'm always
we
like
have
also
a
bring
whole
it back
creative
down.
segment of this show.
Yeah. But like that's my question. Like Arch, do you say like when you're designing your game, are you like more like a world first, like fiction first, or mechanics first?
Yes, absolutely. The world mostly inspired by music. I just keep listening to songs and just like, oh, this thing happens in the world. That's cool. Music is just a wonderful inspiration.
Let's get a quick playlist. Let's get a quick Arch playlist, design playlist here.
Sleep Token, Breaking Benjamin. Those two are great to start off. 30 Seconds to Mars is all their stuff is essentially like the mythic first world. Linkin Park is there.
Jared Leto band?
Huh?
Is that the Jared Leto band?
Yeah, Jared Leto. Yeah. He, especially his earlier stuff, it's very mythical. It's really cool.
Right on.
Drop your mixtape. Yeah. But where were we?
I'm really looking forward to the King's drop. I don't know if you put the classes out yet. Are you going to have like a King's? It's like the most recent one was like the Explorers, and then it was like the Warriors.
Did I release the Warriors already?
Yeah.
I did. Okay.
That's where I was saying you get like the Healing Surge and the Short Rest.
Okay. I thought that was scheduled for later. You know what? I updated the title and I hit save, and I probably accidentally published it today.
Update later and set a schedule.
Yeah,
it was like yesterday at least.
Wow. Okay. I guess I released it and didn't realize. Anyway, yeah, in-world. I was wondering why you were talking about in-world explanations for Healing Surges. I was like, I haven't released that yet, but apparently I did. But yeah, the Kings. I like the feat. So part of my whole goal of the root of fantasy, including everyone, all that kind of thing, is that though I don't like any modern collaborative storytelling game, your Blades in the Dark stuff, any of that, I don't like it. It doesn't scratch my itch. It's not for me. I still know that people find that compelling. It's interesting. They like it. And so even though it's a sliver, I want to include that. So one example, the flashback mechanic, that's something a lot of people talk about. They like the flashback in the dark, where they, the guard comes around the corner and they say, flashback, I actually already bribed this guard. Boom. Well, that is not immersive and diegetic. You are not experiencing what your character is experiencing. You just did something meta out of game that the character didn't have. I don't like that. It's bad. Okay. What I do instead is say there's an entity, like the entity of time and fate and luck. Okay. Yeah. And you can have a deal with him. You can, sell part of your soul to him and have the ability to warp space and time and change fate. So you can actually, in the world, immersively, you reach into your soul, you contact that entity, you stop time, you essentially tell the entity, hey, I want this guy to already be bribed. And the entity rewinds time, like he reworks it so that the guard was bribed and pops you back in the present moment. So it's the same flashback mechanic, but it's an immersive diegetic in-world explanation for it. You actually did that thing, right? So I still have some story stuff, and I brought this up because you mentioned the Kings. One of the King Archon Courts is essentially narrative protection of your character's narrative character arc where it says, hey, you have some important thing you got to do. And so the chanter, the one about stories and narrative, says, hey, we are going to essentially put this narrative spell on you to say that you will avenge your father. You will, go kill the evil.
That's interesting.
And so it protects you and whatnot. So it gives the GM an excuse to say, actually, that wasn't a crit. You survived. And instead of saying, oh, the GM's just, being nice on me, it's like, oh, yeah, that was my Arcane Court ability, and you can actually.
Like you're walking around with a baylet or something like that.
Yeah, you can actually make it, make sense. And you can have, a certain limit to it where it's not just infinite.
Berserk, yeah.
Infinite saves. But yeah, that's the whole thing is I want to allow all the play styles. I want to allow the draw steal, high powered, healing surge, action surge, all that. I want to allow that, but I want to justify it. And most importantly, I want to make it optional. I don't want to force the GM to say, hey, your players are super mega ultra high powered. And I don't want to say, hey, this is a story game. I want to say the baseline game is kind of OSR, low fantasy, low power. The GM is not going to be overwhelmed. It's very simple. And then you get to add more paths. You get to add, do they have a mantle? Do they have a paragon path? Do they have narrative magic? Did they contact this entity? And now they have the ability of flashbacks. It's all in the GM's control to build the kind of game they want. And so you really do get all the experiences you want. You can do Draw Steel and D&D and all those. And it's all in one package, but it's entirely optional, very modular.
I would say
no one's ever done that before.
I would say it's not entirely the GM though, because it's almost like you're picking the game you want to play based on the archetype, which is basically class. But the archetype that you're choosing, because like you get to pick these different powers, like the king. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have this realized railroad. I don't even know how to describe what you just told me, but it's like some kind of like hacks to get me to glitch.
Well, even then, the GM doesn't have to put the Chanter Arcane Court in the game. He doesn't have to make it in the world. Okay. The fact that everything in the game, every power, every ability is not a rule, it's something in the world. Every feat, every ability, your class, your race, all of it is in the world. So if the GM doesn't want to give you any specific feat, ability, power, he says, that's not in the world. It's not in this region. It's not available. And so they have complete control. And that's what makes it immersive and diegetic. Yeah. Everything has a justification in the world. Everything exists in the world.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah. Like, because that's what I title that's what I title like this in this interview, like diegetic immersion, right? Because that seems to be like very like what you're about. Essential. And I find it interesting that when you say that, like it almost make the rules more modular, because to in-world reality.
Yeah, and any of them that aren't on the players, you can just NPC them in also.
Yeah, there are tons of ways to make any of those things available to the players. And
one that I thought was really interesting that you were talking about was like the idea of the hex crawl and like your Pathfinder type. I don't remember what the
Wayfinder.
Yeah, and he basically can. He senses with his ping ability like all these points of interest. It kind of becomes like the quest marker and the compass and everything.
Like Skyrim, yeah,
like Skyrim. That's I just think that's a really cool idea.
And again,
I guess, is that what I don't know. Diegetic. Can you explain what you think diegetic is?
So the way I use diegetic is that the player and the character experience the same thing. In something like a movie, it's that diegetic music is music that the character in the movie is hearing as well as the viewer, right? So it's the bridging of the two. So I use diegetic to mean, if the character is afraid, the player is afraid, or if the character took an action, the player took the action. It's as much as possible, right? This is why even something as simple as rolling a d20 to attack, right? The character took an action, he's swinging his sword with his arm. So the player takes an action, they swing a die with their arm, right? This is like a super minor example, but you want to line everything up as much as possible. And it's really important to implement that in
RPG, right? If in D&D, if you look at the way that armor class and hit point work, right? It's super non-diegetic, because there are two double abstraction, right? That your armor class represent how good you are dodging and your luck and your armor, but they're all abstracted into one kind of like mush. And then your hit point also represent kind of the same thing, plus your flesh wound and stuff like that, all merged into one mush. So now, like, people try to make it diegetic because they're like, oh no, you lost 5 hit point. Oh yeah, you're bleeding a bit. You took a scratch, right? At some point, it doesn't make sense because you have like 200 hit point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it breaks down and break down the immersion.
I lost my 5th arm.
Exactly.
Yeah. We just got a couple of mods for Skyrim because we've been playing some modded Skyrim recently, and we just got one where you get to chop off limbs and heads and whatnot, and we're like, this is so cool. We're totally putting this in our game, and we already have the rule that if you take X amount of damage to a body part at once, then you lose the body part. So it's like, we have dismemberment, baby.
Yeah.
I know.
Before we go further, like, I always want to ask, and we kind of touched on that, like, us as a guest, like, why do you choose to engage with role-playing game rather, like, the role-playing game hobby rather than other hobbies that we do? We all have limited time for our hobby time or free time, stuff like that. So why do you choose, like, this is what I want to do with my time, right? What do you find in those kind of games that you cannot find in video game, board game, or whatever, right?
That's a wonderful question. I really like your questions. For me, it's essentially the diegetic immersion. It's really what I call the arch dream. Is that I don't think RPGs exist as such, so I can't find this anywhere else. But the arch dream, the perfect meeting of diegetic immersion into the world and immersion into the activity, thrill, the flow state. Immersion into the characters and the drama and emotional bleed. That's what one of my viewers called it. And immersion into the character himself, into their own mind. So the world, the activity, the other players, and the mind. Full focus, full immersion into all of that. That's essentially what a dream is. You zone out, you enter a dream state, and you completely leave this world, and you're like, I am somewhere else doing other things that grab my attention and tug at my emotions, and I am a different person in this moment, and it's just awesome and thrilling. And no, it's not like you literally falling unconscious at the table. It's not a literal dream, but it's as close as we can get. It's a waking dream. That's why I do this. It's for that. And it's so rare that anyone gets to really get that. They settle for party games, collaborative storytelling games, a couple moments of drama here and there, maybe a tense fight where they have a little bit of the flow state, but people never get all 4 of those at once for 4 hours. Yep. And that's what I'm trying to promote. That's why I do it. That's what I'm going for.
And I know also you talk about like a four quadrant of
the 4 pillars
game.
Yeah. Well, the 4 quadrants of
yeah. And I like what you said there, right? Because like and I see things slightly differently, right? For me, like, I engage in role-playing game because like obviously for the role play, and I define role play as like thinking in character. I want you to be like, I want to feel like I'm this guy in this situation, and like, which would be immersion in the character. And I say like,
quadrant.
Yeah, and I say what you I say what you know when you're really immersed in your character, when you have this emotional alignment. That's how I call it, right? If your character is afraid, you are afraid, right? There's a damper to it because we're not insane. We still know that we're not there, right, for real, but like your emotions should go the same way, right? If your character is ecstatic, you should be kind of
speak for yourself, Max. Arch, are you insane?
Yeah.
Enjoying those?
I might be.
Are you living as the character?
If you ask any of the people that hear me talk about this, they might tell you I'm insane.
Yeah. Awesome. And one of the quadrants you talk is very similitude, right? Like, you want the world to feel real. And that, I think that's like one thing I often say is like the number one priority of the GM is to maintain the verisimilitude of the world. And that's also a duty that is also shared with the players. But that's the number one priority of the GM, in my opinion.
Yes, agree. That's the first quadrant, is immersion into the world. The world has to feel real first. And then you have to be doing something that captures your attention, the flow state, and you have to have interesting people and characters to do it with. And then something that a lot of people in the 4D crowd and even Black Clutch Games focus on is just the 4th quadrant. It's just the immersion and the role play. And I say, let's not leave out the rest. Let's not leave out Alexander McCrease and his verisimilitude. Let's not leave out good crunch, good combat system with satisfying resolution. Let's not leave out character drama and only just focus on the role play. Let's do all of it.
The problem I have, like, with and like, again, that's the thing that I'm trying to solve when I'm designing Bastard Sword. But the problem I have with oftentimes with like crunchy game is that oftentimes, like, because the rules are so gamey, non-diegetic and stuff like
non-diegetic.
that it breaks the
Breaks
fourth quadrant, like what you'd call the fourth quadrant immersion. And for me, like, this one is more important. Like, I'm all for you having rules that you can interact with. I like having some crunch that I can bite on, right? I like to have something, but I want it to flow in the game, right? That's why, like I hate powers that have like a lot of if and then and stuff like that, or thing that you need to take a turn by committee, or thing that you need to reference very mechanically, right? I'm gonna use my Fury of the Small, right? Because you need to broadcast clearly the message that that's what I'm doing now, and now the rules change, stuff like that. I hate that because it always breaks the flow, the immersion in my mind, right?
Yeah.
I don't like also games that force you, like combat start and now you're seeing the world in third person, and you talk about as well, like seeing in isometric, like from up high, and you're no longer in character. You're no longer seeing the world through the eyes of a character. Now you're like this perfect tactician trying to move pawn on the map and stuff like that. That's not my style of play. So one thing no, sorry.
I didn't know if you were about to make a point just then. Or if that was
I was, but now I lost it. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just want to know, the third quadrant you said was like some sort of dramatic or something like that.
Yeah, it's the one
that's between that and like an immersion or role playing.
It's the one that I can define the least well, but I believe it was Zarian that gave me the term emotional bleed. So I'm still trying to like get a workable definition of it, but I know what it is intuitively. It's the freedom, power, status, and mystery. It's status. It is the connection to other players. It's the thing that you don't get when you solo roleplay. It's the thing you do get with other players. Okay. It's that in several other things. It is the character, the drama, the relationship, the tug and pull, the tension between you and others. It can be characters, it can be players. Of course, it should be both, because with diegetic immersion, the character's conflict is the player's conflict. Then it's there, but it's that.
Okay. Yeah. Right on.
And how do you like because like you say, like we often tend to sacrifice what you would call the second quadrant, the flow, the immersion in the game, and the mechanics like that. How do you bring that? How do you see yourself bring that in? That was the point I was going to make. To that it doesn't step on those other quadrant.
Right. First of all, it's totally logical that if you don't have a good system that allows you to be immersive and diegetic, that you sacrifice the system, go rules light, in order to focus on roleplay. That makes sense. That is a logical reaction that the 4D crowd is making because they don't have an immersive diegetic system, right? So my solution to that is my system, Arches and Avatars, or Arches of Absalon, whatever I call it. Still want that name suggestion, Phil.
We'll do it here in a minute. Yeah.
But yeah, my solution is my system, and I can go into just a couple of details of how that, like the real crux of it, if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So for one, it's the action economy, right? The action economy actually scales to all the other modes of play. Like if you're in a ship, in a vehicle, et cetera, it's the same essential action economy. So it's easy to reference, but it's move, achieve, which is what you do with your arms. Move, achieve, speak, and think, which again, your 4 body parts: your legs, your arms, your mouth, and your thoughts, right? And so instead of something like a bonus action, you have a think action. You make an intelligence skill check, a mental thing, you cast a mental spell, etc., right? Like, oh, I'm thinking. I do this with my mind. A speak action, intimidation check, persuasion check, etc. You instead of saying, here's a spell, it takes 1 action and it's verbal, somatic, and material components. Instead, it's like, well, here's a spell. It takes an achieve action, something with your arms for somatic components. It takes a speak action because you have to say the words, and it takes a think action because you're running through the stuff in your head. It actually says, yeah, here's the spell. AA for achieve action, SA, TA, speak action, think action. And it tells you these are the actions needed for the spell. And so it's just all there. It's not like, oh yeah, verbal components and an action, like all this extra stuff you have to think about. It's just right there. So if you're doing the spell,
you cannot think about some, like it takes your mind busy for the whole round, basically.
It's what your mind is doing.
It's what your mind is doing. And
if I can say just it mirrors very much like what we talked about with the where are you, what are you doing, what are you saying?
Yes, that's what I was thinking as well.
If we typically don't say what you're thinking, but it makes sense. Like But basically, I mean, you don't really say what you're thinking, but that's not
first
really
three at
what a
least,
think
yeah.
action is.
Yes, you're right. One of the really cool things about the action economy is it's the exact. I'm so glad you brought this up. I'm so excited about this. It is the exact same thing that the player should also be doing on their turn. Move action. Where are you in the world? Anchor yourself. Achieve action. What do you do? Speak action. What do you say? Think action. That's the role play part. Thinking as your character would think. The on the character sheet, your 4 actions are listed in a row like that, and that's literally reminding you this is what you need to do during social interaction, what you need to do during role play, during any scene, during combat. It's the same action economy every time. And that's one of the most elegant things about it is the very simple 4 action economy
clever.
that also fits with the 4 pillars and the 4 archetypes. It's all aligned. It's perfect.
And so while you're just doing like a normal round that we would do, you're basically just describing your 4 actions.
Yeah. And one thing we do is that you get to forego one to take a second action of another type. So you can choose to not move this round if you want to attack twice, right? Because that's a problem in 5e. You get up to an enemy, you attack them, and next round you're still at him. You attack. There's nothing you can do with your move. I say, well, you don't take the move. You make a second attack, right? You get to mix and match. You can take no achieve actions and instead take 2 think actions or 2 speak, right? Which is what people can do in real life. You can talk really fast or think 2 things at once or do a double move or double attack. You're sacrificing something else, right? And so there's just a little variability, but it gives you a choice, on your turn, and players love it. My players love the action economy.
I notice a lot of times I don't think and talk twice. It tends to be a problem for me. Anyways,
that's how I take my turn in most lives. Anyway,
here's my idea for you.
Okay, cool.
Are we ready? Although I feel like we just started talking about something super interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do we do, Max? What do we do?
I've already said for later. Like, you had more to say about like you're talking about the action economy, but I think you have like stuff about like initiative and stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the second one, the second big thing that we really, really, really like about a game. But by the way, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I have been looking for people to talk to about my game for years, so this is great. Like an actual talk back and forth versus a video. Anyway, the second thing is the effort system. Okay. In our system, you have your 6 attributes, your dexterity and strength and all that, right? And so you have an attribute score like a 16 strength, 15 dexterity, etc. And you have a number of effort corresponding to that score equal to the score. So if you have a 15 strength, you have 15 strength effort, right? The strength effort is called might, right? And so every time you take an action that uses strength and you roll a die, you spend 1 might. When you spend all of your might, you get a penalty, right? Because you're exhausted in that attribute. You've exhausted all your might. For intelligence, for think actions, it's you've exhausted all your aptitude, etc. So that system alone, it may seem like, well, every time I take an action, I have to put a tally mark and mark something off. So I take 4 actions and 4 tally marks. That's bookkeeping. That's work. It solves so many problems. It fixes leveling. It fixes combat. It fixes the long rest, the short rest. It fixes traveling. Like we have to have all these rules in 5e about traveling. Well, you can only travel 8 hours a day, and well, you can only do this X, Y, Z. I say no. It's here are the rules for traveling. It takes this much effort to go 2 miles. It's up to you. How far do you want to go? How much effort do you have? It's like it's elegant. You don't have to have all these rules limiting stuff.
Like,
it just works.
That's something I like a lot of when system like take account. Like I'm very like I don't like Magic. And I don't like high power fantasy instead. Like I'm very like a mod core kind of guy, right? When I role play, like I like people playing ordinary people that are struggling and harsh environment.
Me too.
But they endure. That's my fantasy.
Artax is in the mud. You're trying to get him out of there.
Yeah. That's the stuff with tension, with drama. That's the most fun.
Yeah, but like, and so I like when like when effort is taken into action in some way, right? I have that in my, but like the bookkeeping is often scary. Like I do it in a different way, but like yes, does seem like a bit having one for each attribute does seem like a lot of bookkeeping for now, but like but I appreciate it. Like I don't know, I would need to try it because like it's a interesting. I think it's a good thing to take that. Like I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. That it solves a lot of things. That you don't have to hard code it, right? It become like I like game system that become like algorithmic. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
But there's like this is how it works, and you can push it how far you want, but there's consequence to it.
Yes.
So it become a choice instead of becoming like, oh, I can do that. I can do that amount of time a day. Mm-hmm. Well, no, you can do it like choose how much you want to do it.
Exactly. It's what we call elegant design, where you don't have
Yeah.
to have a zillion hard-coded rules.
Oh,
You
man.
have this one rule that serves 20 purposes and fixes everything else in the
Man.
system. That's what effort is for me.
I love that. I love you say this word, elegant design. I love it so much because I think that's something that we suffer a lot in the RPG hobby. That oftentimes, like people like come up with the rules that it works, it does the job, but it's that we are lack elegant design. I said in the news segment that I want more people to try to experiment with come up with new system, do new rules, because I want to find those new elegant systems that are just like, oh, that does just make sense. That just work. That just solve those issues. I don't have to have like all those specific rules, all those like strict limit,
Exactly.
because the limit emerge from the rules.
Yeah. So
the tactic, yeah.
Yeah, you have something like D&D where we say, well, the fighter should be able to trip someone, but how many times? I don't know, superiority dice, and you can do it this many times a day. I get rid of all of the individual restriction, and I say, that requires effort, it requires might, your strength effort. Done. And then you're like, okay, well, now I have this game of every attack roll requires effort, and this special ability requires effort, and, traveling and strength checks and whatnot. This solves skill dogpiling, where I try to break down the door. I get a 1. Well, I try it again. I get a 2. I try it again. Or everyone tries it. Well, now, yeah, sure, you can try as many skill checks as you want. Spend effort each time. It's like, oh, I don't know, maybe we don't want to. It solves every problem in the game you could think of. It's a wonderful thing. And once you get used to it, once it's second nature to just write down your effort. It's not immersion breaking. It's not tedious. It's the same thing as putting a tally every time you fire an arrow or marking off a spell slot. It's the same thing. It may sound terrible. It's really not.
And it makes a lot of sense diegetically speaking. Phil
learned a word.
It does. It's exactly what you're
That's the word I use in conversation now, Max. I don't know what the big deal is, but it's like because I'm sure we've all been a GM at some point where we were playing crap games and people were like, I'm going to try to pick the lock again. I picked the lock again. And you're just like, you're not really, that's not really what you would do. And the reason why they wouldn't do it is because they're going to be fucking working a lock. They're going to be spending all this effort and stuff. That is the reason. And so that's the reason why it makes no sense. And so because that's the reason it makes no sense, it is now a system in the game. I think that's a really elegant design, as I like to call it.
And as like words in game, there are 4 types of metagaming: meta moving, meta acting, meta talking, and meta thinking. Right? What we call metagaming is usually just the 4th type. Meta thinking is you're using out of game knowledge. Right? Meta talking is a big problem. People talking about, oh yeah, I watched a movie yesterday. It's like, stop, shut up, stay in character. Right? Meta acting is taking meta actions, moving. I'm not going to get into those 2, but the talking.
Wait, I like you to get into those too. You can go after, but finish your point, sorry.
with our game, we want everything, every rule, every structure, everything in the game world to also be something that the characters in the world can talk about, right? No one in D&D talks about your class. What's your class? I don't know. That's a meta concept. It's a meta word. I can't talk about that in character, right? In our system, effort and exhaustion, where you spend all your effort, you're exhausted. It's like that's what you say, man. Like that's going to take so much effort. I don't want to push down that door, right? I'll be tired of it. I'll be exhausted. It's diegetic. It's immersive. It makes sense.
That's exactly the same philosophy I have when I design Bastard Sword, right? When I say like when you have maneuver and stuff like that, but they always need to be like action words and stuff like that. So if you say the name of what you're doing, it form a natural sentence, right? Like oh, I move 2 steps and then like I grab the guy and I skewer him. Well, you use a bunch of like game concept, but it doesn't sound like game concept. It just sounds like you're saying what your character is doing.
You basically say a sentence in Bastard Sword and it describes 4 small actions. It's kind of cool.
So I totally see eye to eye with you on that point, right? I think like you get it, man. Like
I don't design a game, but I also agree with you too.
Cool.
I wish we would see more of that. Like, yeah, I get it. You want to have like those cool thematic name for your ability that evokes something, but they break immersion because they're silly and they cannot be used in a sentence. Can you use it in a sentence?
You have to use it out of character.
Yeah, no one says, "Oh yeah, I'm out of action surges," or "I'm going to use Fury of the Small," right? But for our wood elves, they have a feature called Light Frame, which means they don't, they can walk on the surface of snow, they don't trigger trapped, etc. Someone can say, I have a light frame. I can walk on that, right? That's actually an immersive term, right? I have draconic ancestry. I have draconic fearlessness. I don't get frightened. Like, that's something you can tell another character in the world, right? And this is why instead of classes, we have your mantle. It's actually a thing in the world. Yeah, I went to an arch and got a mantle from the arc in, the Wayfinder, and I have this mantle now. And I have 5 layers of this mantle instead of 5 levels in a class. I've earned 5 layers of this mantle by doing these objectives. It's all immersive in the world. Everything exists in the world.
I really like how you tie your setting into this diegetic rules system.
This is why we couldn't have something that everyone just gets to plug their world into. We couldn't possibly be diegetic. Yeah. We couldn't possibly be immersive unless it was integrated. So yeah,
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's next?
You want to talk about like meta actions?
Oh, well, meta action and meta movement.
I think that, so in my view of meta actions, and this would be more of like a segue into something else that I heard you say that I actually may disagree with you on, is the idea of you want to be playing your best. So this is what I would consider a meta action, is playing at peak system benefit. So it's like you have said, I heard you say, yes. So I heard you say something like that you want to be playing at peak rule mastery because that is in character or something like that. And I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. But I would consider that to be meta action.
Okay, that's a really good point to bring up. My recent video, I think, about first of all, I just gotta call out Adept Austin. he's giving all these game name suggestions and just putting Arch in there. That's hilarious, dude.
Archfire, the Archery,
and Clippy.
Wall.
I'm glad you guys Clippy. Yes. Support that. Good job. Anyway, so
Arching Wheel is funny.
Arching wheel. Anyway, what you said, Phil, about I'm having so much fun. What you said, Phil, about
meta actions.
Yes, that
rules mastery is in character.
Yes. Okay, so first of all, I think even Black Logic Games said this and agrees with it. Not that they're like, Anyway, it's
we don't even need to talk about it.
Yeah. In order to have, smooth play, quick play, even with the most rules-light system ever, you have to know what the rules are, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's easier to reach that in a rules-light system. But either way, you have to have some rules mastery, right? And instead of saying, I use Fury of the Small, it's better if you just say, I run between his legs, or I guess that's like a different feature that you can move through the space of someone. I dash in between his legs and move to the other guy on the other side. You shouldn't have to say, by the way, GM, I use this feature. Or the GM says, what feature are you using? It is better if everyone just knows how that feature works. And again, this is why you need a high trust game where you just trust that the player knows his sheet and knows it. So no matter how complex the game is, you do need system mastery in order to achieve immersion, right? That's a prerequisite. The next thing is about the player wanting to, like, not power game, but min-max, wanting to win, wanting to be the best, wanting to fix their stats.
That's more what I meant.
Yes. That is still immersive, because if you do it right, if you do it well, if I am a fighter, I'm 40 years old, I'm a veteran, and I want to go out and do some delving to get gold to pay for my family, etc. I have all these goals and whatnot. I say, I'm getting old. I better make sure that I can survive this. I'm going to get the best armor I can because I want to protect my vitals. I'm going to get the best sword I can. I'm going to train with my sword and increase my proficiency because that's a real thing I can do with a real sword. And I'm going to make sure I sharpen the sword and get poisons and etc. Right? I'm going to upgrade my character, my stats. I'm going to go work out, or I'm going to go to this guy. He's going to give me a spell or a proficiency or whatnot. I'm going to learn a new skill, tactics. So now I can make better choices on the battlefield because I want to survive and I want to get the gold and bring it back to town. That's all what the character is thinking. So if you as the player say the exact same thing and you say, well, I want to get this proficiency and I want to get this feat and I want to get whatnot, that's exactly what the character is thinking. They want to survive. It's all perfectly diegetic if you're doing it diegetically, if you're doing it immersively, if you're doing it in the character's head, rather than I don't care about immersion. I just want to beat the GM's game, etc. So
That's
the
what I'm about
action
to say.
itself isn't bad.
Until you say like, oh, I'm a warlock, but I'm gonna take it one level of paladin. So
You're right. So
No.
stuff if you're just min-maxing a bunch of disparate things, but even then, the system should be able to solve that. The system shouldn't let you do that.
Nope.
The system should say, hey,
That's
you
good
have
point.
devoted yourself to this, good entity. You want to choose a bad entity. The good entity notices, and now this is an arc, like a character arc. You've chosen this bad entity because they give you more power. That's story. That's character. That's
Yep.
you as the player saying, I want more power to accomplish my goals. And it's the character saying, you know what? I'm going to abandon my deity. I want more power to accomplish my goals.
there is a problem in this hobby, where player play the rules rather than playing the character, right? So it is what it is, right?
So the move is make the rules in character.
Yes. Everything in character.
Apparently, Max. If you haven't been listening.
We have, like soul shards and body share and mind slivers.
Yeah.
Like we mechanize all the different parts of the body so that when you go to an entity, it's not like a level in your class. It's like, no, you actually gave 8 soul shards to this entity and they have your soul now and they give you power.
But how do you do that if you want to have like a low fantasy or like no fantasy kind of setting? Would that be like more challenging in a sense?
Well, yeah, you would have fewer power. So the baseline system is what we talked about in a video a few weeks back, the age progression system, where it's just as a regular person would go. They say, I'm going to spend a season, a downtime, whatever, learning a skill, gaining proficiency, etc. Again, if the GM doesn't put any altars to entities, you can't make any deals with entities. If the GM doesn't put any churches in the world, you can't get any devotion and blessings and miracles. So you can absolutely have a low power game and you just use the baseline game, which is very OSR, very grim, very low powered.
Yep.
Okay, here's the name. Okay, saw your names. Basically, we need to talk a little bit about backstory of this world. It's this idea where like you're in this dream world or something, or this like the creation story of this guy of Arch's world. I hope I get it right. I guess I'm explaining it. But it's like, I mean, you do a better job of it. If you
go ahead, I want to hear it from you.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the elevator pitch version. But basically, like, there's these, I think it's elves, but some group brought these 12 Arcan men to life, somehow with blood. Is that right? And so everyone's in a dream, and then they like, oh no, it's their blood make the immortals, and then the immortals use their blood, right? Is that right? Are you
Tell me when you want me to jump in.
Okay, so I'll just explain what my is, I guess. Yeah, you should probably jump in, but so like so these 12 Arcan immortals, they go and they basically create humanity with their own blood, and then they cast their blood out, and it makes the physical plane, and then the elves are all pissed about it because they're like, we really enjoyed our dream life or something, and then I guess that causes some issues.
Some issues, yeah. The next 7,000 years of issues.
Yeah.
But
that's what I got. So this was my idea for the name. You said the blood of dreams. I'm saying make it blood and dreams. Boom. Enjoy. Blood and dreams.
we consider that.
It does like also go to B&D. What?
Huh?
You say it goes to B&D. That's good.
Yeah.
Good abbreviation, which is important in hobby apparently.
B&D. You might get confused for D&D in common talk. But sure. Blood and Dreams, we generally, this isn't like a hard rule, but we considered it and didn't choose it because it's another and. Monsters and mayhem, tunnels and trolls, dungeons and dragons. It feels like, just another derivative basic RPG. It doesn't stand out. Blood and Dreams. It's like, okay, there's going to be blood and dreams. What does that mean? Like, if you say blood of dreams, that's a little more evocative. It's like, do dreams bleed? What does that mean, right? There's a little more of a question to it. The title should either evoke grandeur or it should evoke mystery. That's
Maya Trumpets needs workshopping.
Thank you, Maya Trumpet. I'm still working on it.
That's a cool profile picture.
Yeah,
perfect.
Your trumpet. Yeah.
I bet he found a picture first, and then he's like, I'm going to name my... Anyway.
But I voted for Dream's Blood.
Dream's Blood.
Possessive.
I prefer Blood of Dream, but like I'm also not not a native English
Blood of
speaker,
Dream.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. There's the French Canadian perspective.
Exactly. I don't like the apostrophes S. I think they're confusing.
There's one thing you can't stand. It's S's at the end of words.
No, exactly. S at the end of a word
Green.
pissed me off.
All right. Well, I shot my shot. Damn it.
Yeah. So what we're considering now is Arches of Apsildon. Instead of Apsildon Arches and Avatars or Apsildon Bloods of Ichniro, just say Arches of Apsildon to kind of make it not so many words on the cover.
You gotta have blood in there somewhere, man.
Powered by the art.
When you described that intro, or when you described what the crappy thing I described when you did it in your video, it sounded like real visceral and like gross.
I want to use blood.
Almost like
Don't we all?
What's the name of that game? Well, I'll think of it.
Blasphemous.
No, it's like that board game that had all the miniatures that cost a whole buttload on Kickstarter.
Rage?
No. Good guess.
There's a ton of them.
Oh well.
We've been now I want to radio about something, Arch, Marias. In one of the video you made, you talk about like the soul of roleplay, or your soul, basically like playing characters and like why you cannot get immersed in
portrait of your soul.
Role-playing, portrait of a soul. Sorry, I forgot the term exactly. Part of your soul. About well, at first I was really very much with you because like, I was trying to play like The Witcher 3 and couldn't get immersed in it, and like I hate video game role-playing game, right? Role-playing game on the computer, because I think they're always narrative game, and
we really reinforced that earlier last month.
Yeah. Yes, trying to play like Divinity Original Sin 2, and it was so painful.
Yeah.
No. But then, like with the end of the video, you talk about like that you have this character in you, and that you always kind of bring that to the table in a sense. And I think that's a mistake. I think you should try to roleplay people that are not yourself, and that's something I think that me and Phil can disagree upon, right?
I don't know how I think I'm going to end up agreeing with Arch's take on this, actually, because I have a feeling he seems to be a very, like, it's almost like a universal style vision of people, which I've always said that, like, you can imagine that you have experienced everything that's ever happened, and so like you can tap into your own experience. It's almost like you can tap into yourself to portray anything.
Yeah, but like I think like one thing you can do with role-playing games also is tapping in something that is not yourself, right? And that's the point. And maybe I'm full of shit. You can Phil, you've played with me a lot. Maybe you can say like, yeah, no, Max, you're always playing yourself. Maybe I'm just lying to myself.
I think that we agree. It's just I see that as an extension of myself, and you don't see it as an extension of yourself.
Oh yeah, I like to play a character that are very not like me.
Yeah.
What
do you think, Arch?
Yeah, what do you think, Arch?
Well, first I have a question for you. I'll probably have an hour-long preamble before I get to the question, because that's my habit. But I have a question for you, Max, Mr. Max. So I think we agree. I think it's just about getting to the right avenue to find our agreement. So you said you should play characters that are not yourself. Why? What is the benefit you get from playing a character different from yourself? Why do you want to do that?
Because first it's an opportunity to step away from yourself, be like experience a different scenario as somebody else than yourself, like something that you like in real life you're yourself all the time, right? Or most of the time, unless like drugs, but like you're yourself usually. But when you role playing game, it's a good opportunity to be somebody else and see the world through somebody else's eyes, right? For me, that there's value in that in itself.
I've often heard Max say that it is a good exercise of empathy as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Good exercise of empathy, seeing the world through somebody else's eyes, right? Understanding that, you have to have a theory of the mind that other people don't think like you. So now you hijacking your own thought process with the thought process of somebody else, right? Like, so you're gonna make decision differently, right? And you want to be able to, when you're immersed in your character, you can make those decisions impulsively without them defaulting back to what you would have done yourself, right?
Okay.
Once you get a good.
So that sounds right. That sounds true. That, you know, practice in empathy, you can get inside someone else's head, and that's good for the character. It's good for, you know, lots of reasons, right? But is that the goal of immersive roleplay, immersive diegetic roleplay?
For me, it is part of the goal. Yes.
I think that's one of the benefits of role playing by itself, is that empathy, that, oh, I'm going to put myself in someone else's shoes. But that, to me, is not the goal of immersive diegetic role play. That is to be completely engrossed in my entire being into an activity.
Yep.
And to do that, all this empathy of someone else over there is not conducive to this goal. That is a good goal, a worthy goal. And that's where role players focus. Where if you're just focused on role play, that is one of the benefits of role playing. But I'm not just focused on role play. I'm not a role play only. I am a role play as one of the four. Yeah. And so I eschew that part and just pull the parts of roleplay that I like and just do the portrait of the soul thing so that I can have immersion, because immersion is the goal.
Yeah, like before we go on, like Daryl Eret for $5 said sanguine lucidity. Sanguine equal blood, lucidity equal total immersion of the dream. All right, so there you go. You got a suggestion for a name.
Sanguine lucidity is kind of cool.
I'm going to make it crappier. Sanguinidity.
So
yes, you did.
Yes, you did. That's great.
You're welcome.
One of the
thanks for the $5.
One of the Somnia Sanguis. One of the names that we considered was, I'm going to type it here, Somnia Sanguis, which means woe to the waking blood.
Oh, that's good.
But it seems to just, like, no one, like, first of all, you would assume it's in another language and you wouldn't even pick it up off the shelf, right? So it's a cool word, but it's probably not for like the name of the main game, right?
You know, it depends on the cover art, and you put the font as a nice like gold thread cursive on like a red.
And you can even put like put like in small underneath, right? Like the translation in English for like Americans that are afraid of other language.
Thank you.
And so if I do have like a translation, I would probably just say like Blood of Dreams or Waking Dreams, or like Waking Dreams is boring. Like Blood, I do really like the Blood. Okay, so you know how you have like Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook, right? Player's Handbook is boring. I might have something like, you know, Arches of Absalom, and then say Blood of Dreams as like the Player's Handbook. Our current name that we haven't released yet is Incarnate Dreams. That is our current name for the Player's Handbook. It's Incarnate Dreams. Because you have your dream in your head, you dream up your character, and this is how you incarnate them. This is how you make them real. It's the Player's Handbook, right? So it's called Incarnate Dreams. But we could call it Blood of Dreams instead, because the blood is the thing that incarnates you. So maybe that's where I can use Blood of Dreams. It's all up in the air.
Yeah. Sorry, to come back to what we're talking about, like the goal of the immersive roleplay, right? Because yes, you can, like, if you want the immersive roleplay, you can say like you can immerse yourself like with one version of yourself in a different world, in different setting, and see like how things would turn out, how you would react, like, you know, what would I do in that situation, right? And that's fine. But I like to take it one step further and say like, oh, this guy that is not me would react in this situation, right? Like, it's kind of like thinking about a human being.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm incapable of experiencing someone else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that it takes away from my immersion.
Well, you'd really have to define someone else, because I think that we have these 4 archetypes within us. Okay, you have your explorer, which again has different iterations. Your warrior, you have different warriors inside of you, different versions of that. Your king and your mage, right? And you know, the different archons, the different archetypes. All of it is my interpretation of.
You do. There's one in there.
No,
he's got a crow. He's got a crow, and he has a black robe.
Arts the Gathering.
Anyway. You got that's a good point.
Yeah. So
I love archetypes.
You do have them in you,
but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You do have them in you. So when you are playing someone else, I do think you should play someone else. That is part of the escapism, part of the I'm leaving myself, I'm in someone else. But there's a certain arena, a certain realm of someone else that is still close enough to you that you can be immersed. And I say those are the portraits of your soul, your archetypes, right? If you step outside that and try to play something totally different, I'm going to play 40-year-old mother of 3. It's like you're not doing yourself any favors, right? That is not going to be immersive. There may be some value, empathy, and all that, but if you want to be immersed, there's a more limited pool of characters that you can be, and all those characters are going to be a sliver of yourself. If you try to roleplay someone that you just have no similarity to, you're not going to be immersed.
I would go further than that. I don't know that there is a character I have no similarity to.
And that's the thing.
To some extent.
I think for most, good role players, that's probably true. But we have a lot of advice. Well, not a lot. We have some advice on YouTube saying, oh, the whole point of role playing is to play someone totally different. And I think that can get taken to the extreme. And I want to say, hey, here's the actual goal.
Because okay, if we talk about human being, right, there's always like a situation you can say like, well, in some circumstance I could have turned into that guy, right?
Sure.
Like the last guy I role played, like in the Ghost game, right, when he was like, this whole story with his brother and the guilt and the this guy like has very little in common with myself. But I still think it's interesting to, I could see that, if life would have been different, but because we're such
like you don't have a brother, right?
I don't have a brother. I don't have guilt. I don't have a gambling addiction or any addiction.
You don't have guilt? How fortunate for you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Wow, what a life.
Yeah. Wow, that's the benefit of being Catholic, man.
I guess you handled your business.
Exactly. You go to confession and you're guilt-free.
What
Zonalar is saying in the chat here.
Oh, let's highlight it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Read it.
Oh, I'll read it then. I don't agree with Arch, but I believe his train of logic feeds into why Mr. Max hates when people roleplay elves or tieflings. Players never take into account all the implications of living 1,000 years.
So you and I really do agree. I'm talking about more of the extreme cases where if you are playing something and not taking it into account, or if you're playing something that's just so different from you, you couldn't possibly take it into account because you just cannot conceive of being 1,000 years old, then that's when it's better to actually choose something that is closer to your experience. So within the realm of, human person, in the world, etc., there's lots of wiggle room, but don't try to play this 1,000-year-old elf and expect full immersion if you're not prepared to do all the work to read the setting and all that.
Like that's something I talked a lot about, right? And like you should take that into consideration. You don't just play a human with pointy ear. And that's what I was saying, like, well, as long as we're people, like, you can always like see yourself like, well, I could have become that guy if I had like a similar kind of life, right? Stuff like that. But then we go to elves, dwarf, and stuff like that. That's something I tried to do when I played Kaneko, right? Which was I played a cat boy, a furry, basically, like an anthropomorphic cat. And I really tried to think like, where's the line where you're a cat now with like you're basically a cat, walk on 2 legs with N, so you're getting closer to human. You have like human consciousness. But where's the line when you don't just become a human in furry suit, right? Like, so what are the traits? How do you portray the catitude in the?
You just say meow once in a while and drink milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and be like and knock things shit down of shell, right? But but
that's the thing. Strangely horny.
Yeah, but I try to portray that with like the aloofness and like being focusing like on stuff that like without being like cartoonish and silly, right? And but
it's very strange.
Yeah, I think we agree, Max. I think we really do. It's that the edge cases, the weird ones, the ones that you just can't be immersed in. The goal isn't to just try to play something totally different from you, and then that's somehow a virtue. It's like, no, let's actually choose the realm of things that are similar to us. And if you can find like the absolute pinnacle of like, this is something I'm internally struggling with or thinking about, like this feels like an open wound in my past or something that needs to be explored. That's the portrait of your soul. That's the thing that if you bring out and play it, you're like, this is therapy. This is filling me.
Oh,
The problem I have, like, it's also like people like want to play stuff that are different for them. Like one thing that drives me crazy is you say like, oh, I want to play a human because I'm human every day in my life, and I say like, man, if you cannot find something different to role play by playing a human,
mm-hmm.
you don't understand the depth of the human
Yeah,
spirit,
exactly.
Yeah.
and you don't, or you fucking suck at role playing. And now they think they're gonna be like great role player because they play something different, but they're gonna play like a tiefling, right? Like
That's what I'm saying. I think you guys
the
just
common
have
example.
different. I think you guys just have different ways of
Maybe.
describing probably similar outlooks.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we
But
agree.
Like you
they
don't.
go
I'm sure
through
Arch
different thing, but
isn't.
like they don't make it meaningfully different. That's what I'm saying, right? They just like
Exactly.
it's just depend on the. It's not substantially different. It's just different in the
Aesthetically.
appearance. What we
Yeah.
call like aesthetically, right?
Yeah.
So you still have the appearance of bread, but the substance is the same. To make a transubstantiation. Yeah.
Sure.
You're not Catholic, right?
No, I'm kind of close, but I'm not Catholic.
Okay.
But
for Catholic audience at home,
let's move forward.
Cool.
With our 2-hour show here.
Oh yeah, I still had stuff to talk about that on like before.
What do you want to do? You want to have a 2-hour show, or do you want to have a 2.5-hour show?
We can go as long as you want.
I can go long. I don't mind. Yeah, the conversation is worthwhile. Because like what we're talking about now, and maybe we can merge that to that. But like when you make a character, then what do you base it, like when his personality and stuff like that? Like where do you draw from to find your character, to find like who this guy is, right? What his mindset is gonna be. What is your process?
So I can role play lots of things. I can do the whole casual role play, and I can have a certain level of immersion in it. For the and like I did that the other day. My wife, finally, someone else ran my game for me. It's like the struggle, man. But anyway, I played like a 2-hour session with sister and her, and I was immersed into the character to a certain extent. I played my own custom race, the Moro, and it was like I can role play anything. I really can. You can create the character. You can give me anything as long as it's not 1,000-year-old elf, cat person, whatnot. You can give me anything within the realm of reason, and I can role play it. I can jump in his head. I can get in there. I'm decently good at that. Okay, so it's not really a big process for me. You can just give me anything. I'll role play it. But in order for it to feel like I am winning or losing, like I am the one in the hot seat, that the tension and the thrill is like, oh my goodness, that requires beyond role playing, right? That requires all the rest of it. So it's not just that, well, you need to do the portrait of your soul to be fully immersed in role play. It's you need the portrait of your soul to be fully immersed in the entire art's dream, to have all of the other parts. And so my process for that, I pretty much just have one portrait of my soul, which is this dark elf, fiery, exiled from his home, condemned, but very humble and actually right. And he's not like vengeful toward the other people in the past. He actually he's innocent, but he voluntarily, willingly suffers whatever sentence they gave him. And he said, I will suffer that and double it. Whatever you sentence me to, I will finish it and then do it again because I'm willing to suffer. And it's out of humility, out of the statement of humility. And then during the whole way, he likes magic and weapons and he fights certain ways and whatnot. But that idea just feels so, it's like my heart raises when I think about it. Someone that says, I am unjustly persecuted. I will accept the persecution and go double. I will take double what, after you're done persecuting me, I will continue to persecute myself.
That's interesting.
As kind of a statement. That to me is that is so, I don't know, it feels Christ-like or something. There's just something so meaningful about that. That is the portrait of my soul. When I'm playing that character, I feel something different than when I play the mage Bob. I can be immersed, I can role play, but I don't feel that.
Is that a sentiment you connect to it in your real life? Is it something like
yes, exactly.
It's getting a bit personal, but
yes, something very personal, yes. And so because that happened to me in real life, a personal thing, that essentially birthed the portrait of my soul. And I'm I was always playing the portrait of my soul, when I was a teenager playing Skyrim, Morrowind, Oblivion, all that stuff. I would play a part of me. When I played Fallout, I didn't, because it's not fantasy, so I just enjoyed this for different reasons. But when I was doing Elder Scrolls, I was whatever I was at the time. I was this moody teenager. I was, humble. I was angry, etc. You could go through your teenage stuff. But then when this thing happened to me, it stuck. I was like, this is the portrait of my soul for the foreseeable future. This is a part of me that if I can embody this, when this character goes through something, I feel it. It hits home so much more than if I roleplay anyone else. If I roleplay this guy, it matters. It hits like a dagger to the chest. It's spiritual. It's amazing. That's what I'm trying to go for.
Do you, does it go the other way around? Do you bring something back to your persona, your real life persona, from a character you played?
My wife certainly has. She had a wonderful Catholic penitent. Yeah, kind of. She had a really awesome experience over the course of like 8-10 months or something. And I think it was like therapy to her. She pulled those experiences into real life and it kind of helped her heal and work through that stuff. There's a place for that. I don't recommend, tabletop games as therapy, but it's undeniable that if you do something like this with a portrait of your soul and you have a really good game, that there is something cathartic, therapeutic, spiritual, whatever you want to call it. There is an actual real world takeaway. If I'm playing some other random character, I'm probably not going to have much of a takeaway. Because, easy in, easy out. Like, I put a little in, I don't get much out. So, probably not for just casual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. Well.
Can I ask him something yet, Max?
Yeah.
Something I get interested in is the role of GM. And I don't know if you experience an immersive experience when you're GMing, or what is your goal as a GM?
That's a great question, Phil.
Yeah, thank you.
The GM is playing a totally different game. The GM cannot really be immersed in the same way that they are immersed. The GM is not playing the arch game. The GM is facilitating the other players playing the arch game. Mm. So I'm like, no DMPCs. They're doing something different. Their goal is, first of all, it's a lot easier than 5e GM. It's so simple. We've so far we're going to keep refining and improving it. But their whole job is just role play. That is pretty much their job. They leave off the thrill and the combat and a lot of the dramatic stakes and the immersion into the world. It's their job to make sure the world is immersive to the players, to give them cool combats and to give them tension. But the whole role playing thing, like the GM does all 4 things, but it's on the flip side of the coin. For roleplay, my whole prep system is that the GM simply picks a character in the world and says, over the next week, what do they do? What are their motivations? Oh, they want to do this. Okay, roll to see if he succeeds. Okay, he does this. It takes him a week, etc. And he just goes through all the major, here's the Lich in the tomb. What does he want? He wants soul gems. He wants to recruit minions. That's, where would he find minions? Well, he's going to go out nearby town. He sees the town. He, rolls to see if he gets minions. All right, he gets minions. He pulls them back. He trains them to get soul gems. And he sends them out. This takes 3 weeks. Okay, cool. I know what this character is doing. And then you look at the next person. Well, the people in the town, they saw the Lich. What do they do? Well, they run to the kingdom to ask for help, etc. Right? You don't need to prep a plot. You don't need to be a writer. You just role play what each character does. And that is your prep. Those are your session notes. That's everything you do. It's so simple. You just sit down and role play. I prep for my game and I just role play. What would the character do? What would this one do? What would that one do? Okay, I'm done. It's the simplest prep method ever. You're just role playing. You don't have to come up with this 3 arc structure and this. It's not writing. It's not storytelling. It's none of those things. The GM just role plays. So easy.
And I like the. I think you use the word role play. Like I often say, like role play, like because that's something that people don't understand. Role playing is not talking in character; it's thinking in character. So like, and that's how you use it now.
Making the decisions your character would make. That is the essence of role playing.
Yeah. You have another question, Phil?
No, that's it. Thank you, man.
So last thing I wanted to ask, which I like to ask, is what is one thing you would like to see change in the hobby in general, like in the TTRPG hobby?
When I heard you ask Scotty DM Scotty, I was like, I've got to get a good answer to this. And I totally forgot what I came up with, so I'm going to go off the rails. Off the rails. Let's see.
You do it.
What I'd like to see change is essentially just education. I'm going to soapbox. I'm going to rant for a second. In my opinion, there are at least 2, if not 3, different hobbies that people think are the same. They call it tabletop role-playing games, TTRPGs, and they are not the same freaking hobby, people. Okay? They say, oh, but we use the same. Here's D&D 5e. Here's the handbook. We're playing the same game. No. You can get a hammer, and you can go commit battery with it, or you can hammer some nails with it. Those are not the same hobby. Okay? You're using the same tool, You're using, your D&D 5e rulebook, but you're using it completely different ways. And I'm so tired of people saying D&D is a storytelling game. No, it's freaking not. Shut up. It's not a collaborative storytelling game. They say in the front of the book, the open D&D, this is a collaborative storytelling game. It's like, you're just wrong. You're just flat wrong. And people say, oh yeah, it's the hobby as long as everyone's having fun and blah, blah, blah. I know it's like the name of your channel, but it's like the goal. No one knows the goal of the game. Like, there's immersive in-character arch game role-playing. That's one goal. That's one hobby. Yes, you may be using the same rule book that someone else is, but if this other person says, let's do a party game where we tell stories and have cool character arcs and we're all protected, those two are not the same hobbies. They may be related. You can use you can have show cars where they sit on a lot and look pretty, and you can have race cars. Mm-hmm. They're both cars, but the hobbies are entirely different, right? It doesn't take much. I mean, you can have a driving hobby where you just drive around town, and then you can have a racing hobby where you go slightly faster. You're still doing the same thing. I'm sitting in the car. I'm turning on the ignition. I'm hitting the gas. I'm steering. I'm driving. That's the same hobby. No, they're not the same hobby. Don't tell me NASCAR is the same as taking a drive around town. They're completely different hobbies, even though it looks like you're doing 90% of the same things. What I would like to see changed is people wake up to the fact that these are completely different hobbies. Stop conflating the two. Stop letting one hobby, the storytelling hobby, invade the RPG hobby and corrupt everyone. Say, by the way, it's all about storytelling. And then the people that say, actually, please don't invade my role-playing hobby. I'd like to role-play, please. I'd like to have immersion, please. They're seen as like bad and, oh no, we're just going to expand into your space and take over D&D YouTube. It's like, it would be nice if the D&D YouTubers were on that side and they said, by the way, we're not actually playing D&D as intended. We're playing a hack of D&D. We're playing a storytelling game instead of actually playing it the way it was designed, which is a role-playing game. So we're not actually doing it officially. We're not doing it correctly, but we sure are having fun, and there's no wrong way to have fun, so come have fun with us, right? That's fine. You go ahead and hack D&D and play a storytelling game, but just don't tell everyone that it's the right way to do it, and this is D&D, and it's a storytelling game. It's not. I just separation of the two hobbies, please. That's what I'd like to see changed.
I would agree with you on that.
At least two.
At least two. Yeah, I would agree with that because I think one of the biggest tragedy that we see so often is when you have like those mixed group that are looking for different outcome, and oftentimes what we see is like the GM wanting to tell a story, and the players wanting to play basically a board game, right? And now like they get bored, they go through the story until like it's time for combat, and now like they get engaged, but they go like they're not role playing still. They still go in tactician mode. Now they're moving their mini on the maps, and the GM always, how can we make like combat go faster? Okay, because you want to go back to his story, but that's the combat is the only time the player are engaged, right? There's this big misalignment. If we have like a better understanding, like, well, you're not looking for the same thing. You're not in the hobby for the same reason, for the same goal, for the
different hobby.
Yeah, you're in different hobby basically, and because we don't have this separation, because it's all like big.
You buy together. The same stuff.
Yeah, the same tools
for both.
Yeah, and so it's not about gatekeeping. It's not about saying you shouldn't storytell or you can't play in my hobby. It's not about telling anyone they can't play or can't have fun. It's saying, please have fun in your room. I'll have fun in my room. Don't come to my room and mess up the stuff on my table as I'm doing my hobby. Right? It's about invading the other hobby. That's it. Yeah. We don't have the vocabulary to actually say what these are, because we call them all role-playing games, which, by the way, it's a misnomer. There's no such thing as a role-playing game. I want to get rid of role-playing game and actually call them what they are. Here's your skirmisher war game. Here's your collaborative storytelling party game. Here's your actual, diegetic immersive arch game, right? Call them something different.
It's called role-playing game. I would call those last one role-playing game, but that's fine. Well, but it's like, it's
doesn't get the point across as hard, though.
It'd be crazy if you invite somebody, like, you want to go see a music concert, and there was like no discussion of like what the music is, what the genre is going to be, like what the band is like.
It's going to have music. They'll have instruments.
Right. Music is music. No, like, you like music? No. Yeah, I like music. I like music too. Let's go listen to some music. And then like one guy is into like bubbly pop, and the other guys do like black metal. Yeah, one of them is not going to be happy.
As Zonalar said, it's about setting expectations. Like, it's as simple as that. People don't have the vocabulary. See, the problem with calling it a role-playing game, even if it is a completely 100% accurate term, there's still the problem. Because if they're all called role-playing games, but they're all different, it's a useless term. You have to have a term that is actually different per thing. And you can't say, well, only these are role-playing games and those aren't. Well, then you're just going to have a flame war. The only way to actually do it is to get rid of the term entirely, so no one has any claim to it, and then you rename all the different hobbies.
That's a fair point of view. but I'm also not opposed to flame wars.
Well, I'm trying to like run a business and bring unity, so I am.
Yeah. Should we move on to the next section of this show?
Yeah.
We're getting a bit behind. Phil, you wanted to move
Honestly.
on? You're good
This
now?
is super fun, guys. I like
I'm
this
ready.
a lot.
Oh, I'm glad you're saying that. Like. So let's do the exposition thing since Phil is finally ready and starts checking things out.
How dare you? All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a kitty cat.
yeah.
I am the star of the show now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share it.
Well, yeah. Well, you can put it on screen, or I can.
Oh well.
I'm just waiting for you to share.
Oh well. I've got it. Right
Apparently, you weren't that ready.
It's right here. What are you talking about?
There you go. How come your will is smaller than mine? I like the lime.
Yeah, I put a lime in there because it's green.
Good reason. As good reason as any.
Yeah. So, anyways, so Arch, it sounds like you saw the show previously.
Yes,
But
I know what's coming.
You know what's coming. All right. So this is the exposition for the folks at home, where we're going to world build on the fly. We're gonna spin
something
for
else.
one thing.
Yeah.
Boom.
I was gonna get PC.
I hope we don't get Gonzo. That's all I care
There you
about.
go, PC. Oh,
Antagonist.
A lot better than PC. I'll take antagonist.
Heck yeah.
No, I don't like PC.
Almost cheating. Such a good one.
We need to not get Gonzo now because we get Gonzo every fucking time.
Yeah. Time travel.
Fantasy. Okay. Is there an all right.
And
another one. Yeah, double spin.
No way. You know what that means? You know what this means?
Just pure fantasy.
Grand fantasy.
Grand
This is the fantasy of fantasy. This is literally what Apsildon is. It's called immersive planar grand fantasy. This is perfect.
There you go.
All right.
Well,
Well,
you need to come up with something fresh.
you have to come up with an antagonist.
An antagonist. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't just tell
Are
you.
you
I can't just lore dump about my villains. Okay.
No, because we get to chime in on
You'd
it,
be
and
like-
if you do that,
you'd be
you're gonna
like
be
one of
unhappy
those-
that you put spin on your stuff.
You'd be like one of those
Don't be the
freestyle
darling.
rappers that pulls
Yeah.
their notebook out and will be like, "Hey,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you're reading
No,
those
I like
rhymes."
this.
You're-
I like this image of like the freestyle rapper.
No reheating. All right, Zonalog. I will not reheat. Come up with something new. All right. All right. So I'm just kicking this off all of my top my own head. Antagonist.
Just starting us off. We're with you.
Okay. I need someone in the chat to give me words. Any old random word. Anything you want. Say something.
A crow.
Crow. All right.
Oh, yeah, he's still on crow.
Max, do you have anything?
No, I'll go ahead with that.
No. Okay. Cool.
He's a bird.
Yeah, it's a bird. It's a
Poop.
bird
Really,
antagonist.
Zonalar?
Poop
11 man.
crow.
All right. Crow. Poop.
That's what you get when
Awesome.
you ask the chat.
Hey, I'll
Yeah,
deal
don't
with
ask
it.
the
I'll
chat.
make it work. It's not the worst thing you could have
Please
said.
don't make it a poop crow.
So there's a party of an adventure. It's a fantasy setting, right? And there's
Yes.
this. I guess now it's a
There it
crow.
is.
There's
Hold
a
on,
crow
let's-
that's been a pain in the ass for.
Well, the word
ever.
is crow.
Let's
word is
start from
cool.
the top. Instead of having assumptions like Party of Adventurers, let's just start with antagonist itself. Antagonist. Who are they antagonizing? Antagonist doesn't mean villain. It just means opposite of
Yeah.
antagonist, right? So antagonist, crow, gondola, toothache. Got it. So an antagonist. He
Usually they oppose the protagonist.
right. So he's opposing someone, but the other person could also be opposing them. And so
Yes.
you have to kind of do a coin flip as to which one of those you're actually doing.
Usually the antagonist wants a thing, and the protagonists are getting in the way of the antagonist.
That's usually the way they do it. With villains are proactive
Yeah,
and
you're
heroes are
wrong.
reactive. Let's flip that on its head. The
Yeah,
hero
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to go in, cause a problem for the villain. The hero is the proactive one. The hero is the jerk coming in to cause a problem. But the antagonist, of course, deserves it.
So
Actually,
they just have goals that oppose for some reason, right? They each have goals and they
Yeah.
don't necessarily are villain or heroes or whatever,
Exactly.
right? They just have opposing goals that cannot coexist.
so man, I'm seeing a mountain. Man, it's so easy to just dive into my world and be like, ooh, dream elves and humans and whatnot. But that's just making
Do you want- So on this mountain, it's like a honeycomb of caves. It's like on a cliffside,
Ooh,
right?
honeycomb.
And at night, flocks of crows come out. What are they doing?
These are blood crows, blood adherents, and they
Blood crows.
they are actually living in a blood wax honey. Do you know what vulture bees are?
What?
It sounds like you're describing Cyber Frog right now.
No, in real life, there's a thing called vulture bees. Okay, they don't get pollen; they get dead flesh, and they make blood honey out of dead flesh. It is a real thing. Okay, it's awesome. So these are essentially blood crows in a similar vein. They get flesh, and they, as you said, honeycomb. They build essentially blood wax honeycomb like onto this mountain. So you're looking at the mountain, and it's just red up the side of all these hexagons and whatnot, and they fly out to get flesh. So that's an interesting, antagonist, you could say, but
the antagonist is not the crow; it's the master crow.
Because like the antagonists need to have like they cannot just be like like just an animal that act on instinct, act on base instinct. That's not a good antagonist, in my opinion. Like you need to have like a desire, a goal, like beyond something, right? Something they want to achieve, or than just survival.
Out mindless antagonists.
Okay, cool.
Right?
You can say
antagonists are fine.
You can say blood elves.
I don't want to go mindless antagonists.
Or a blood elf. A blood elf with the blood crows trying to he's trying to go out and collect all this blood of humans because he thinks that if he can collect all this blood, put it in this place, and then turn it to sleep, he will essentially like vanish away all of the people whose blood he took. So if he can go out and have these crows peck on people and pull bits of their blood and bring it back, there can be some kind of like magical association, this magical tether, where if he then does something to this blood, like put it all to sleep and put it in the dream realm, then all those people will also vanish up into the dream realm, and he can go in and take over.
Nice.
How many? Definitely a villain.
Yes, apparently.
So this is straight out of. I'm sorry, I'm saying the name wrong again. I'm going to say Absalon again.
Absaldon.
All right, so he's using the blood to go back into the dream realm, harvesting the humans. How many humans is he gonna have to harvest?
He probably just needs a few pecks of blood that the crow keeps in its mouth per human, and so the crows come in, peck a bunch of people, and leave, and they keep doing that until they have the blood of every person, and then the big bad. Actually, the bad guy might do it in waves. So he may like start at the base of the mountain and make it kind of dreamy, and that makes 10% of the people become dreamy. And then he goes up and makes it more and more dreamy because he has to rest and use his power and whatnot. So then people are like, hey, we're disappearing. We can't really stop the crows because they're just birds. We can't shoot them out of the air. So we need someone to go to this mountain and stop this enemy. And maybe the dream starts from the top of the mountain down. So the party goes up through all this like blood cocoon, blood wax. Maybe there are other creatures that have like wandered up the mountain and they got caught in the blood wax and they're like transformed and whatnot.
Oh my god, yeah. So the blood wax is basically like a glue trap. So if you like get stuck in the blood wax, they like cover you up and then like it'll slowly just leach the blood out of you. So you see all these all these bodies with these like auras, tendrils of blood coming out of them.
Yes,
like
terrible
these
stuff.
Desiccated bodies.
And so the party has to go ahead.
Let's flesh out the villain a bit more, right? This blood
elf. He's definitely paid off the mayor. Mayor's on the take, so they're not hiring all these mercenaries.
The mayor might be the mayor might be like a closeted half elf. He like shaved his ears and whatnot. So he's like, yeah, pro elves. I like Dad. Dad had the right idea. Kill all the humans.
Okay, that's one thing. That's one thing we can talk about. Like, does he have like this villain has beer? I guess like the mayor would be one. Does he have doubt in what he's doing? Does he have like something that's holding back? Something that is that still attached him to this world? Something that's missing? What drove his motivation to want to go to a dream and become so villainous? Where does that come from?
He's probably been promised something by the blood elf. Are you talking about the mayor or the blood elf?
Nah, the antagonist.
The main antagonist.
Antagonist.
Well, in my world, just being woken up from the dream is reason enough. They are creatures of dream. They want to go back there. If you want to put something else on there, you can say lost loved one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Are elves inherently just like anti-human?
So
or is there a range? Yeah.
It's if you were, living in America and someone nuked America and just threw you into the Sahara Desert and said, you live here now, would you have an inherent, you and your children and the whole culture start to build an inherent disdain of whoever nuked America and thrust you here?
No.
Yes, I would have an inherent disdain, but
you're not suited for
would
that.
I have an inherent disdain of that person's 4 times removed ancestor?
That's the
I'm
thing.
immortal.
That's the thing. The dream elves are continually being woken up. It's a continual process.
So humans are hot too. So if they're hot,
dreams don't have the equipment. Elves don't have the equipment, which is one of the reasons they're very upset. But humans are out there having fun, and they're like, "I'm a mannequin."
Kendall, is there something in this world, not the dream world, in this, like, I guess, blood world, material world, that this villain that is attached to, that maybe make him hesitate a bit, that you want to maybe maybe it's not all bad, maybe you want to preserve that?
Something about pleasure, something about bliss. I kind of play the villain elves as just, junkies for pleasure, junkies for dream. I just want to zone out. So maybe the blood itself. Maybe he's not just doing it to vanish the humans. Maybe he's actually collecting the blood because he's like in a cocoon in the blood honey mountain. He's in there absorbing the blood, trying to get flesh so he can experience life and experience pleasure. Because he's like, if I'm this fleshless mannequin, I can't really live here. I need to take everyone's flesh onto me, everyone's blood onto me.
So they can't
process. Wait. What?
They can't ascend to the dream realm. They can only experience a dreamlike state if they are encased in this blood honey tomb that is consistently fed. And then they have this like mental link to these crows. That's how they get messages out.
What if the process, like, he's trying to make this ritual to go back to the dream, but the process of making the ritual is slowly making him more human, and now he's having those doubts.
That's a great point. The villain starts out like, I'm going to do this thing. I have this plan. I'm going to turn the mountain dream. And then partway through, he essentially gets flesh and whatnot. He's like, I'm starting to feel native to this world. It's not so painful anymore. Maybe I want to stay. And it starts turning into, bring me blood so I can enjoy it, and maybe bring me people.
And maybe he's the point where, like, he will technically probably have enough to complete the ritual, but now he's procrastinating and pretending that he needs more.
Not only that, he's being self-destructive. So he's like sending his tail. He's like, I'm gonna send a dream to the protagonist. I should be stopped, but I can't stop because I'm such a slave to my addiction.
His conflict, his mental dream conflict, is because he's so powerful. It's being portrayed into the dreams of all the people, and they're like, "We're dreaming of some conflicted entity up there in that blood mountain." That's a great
check out on this mountain.
Yeah, someone's tripping out there, and he's regretting it.
That's pretty sure I saw my dad in a cocoon in a dream. I haven't seen him in a couple weeks.
I think that's interesting. I think that's now you have like some depth to this villain,
and
he's also assisting you in your mind. So you got that whole Scorpius like.
Perfect antagonist to himself. He has two conflicting goals. He is his own antagonist.
He's the one that's sending out the visions because he is his human half, right?
Yeah.
His sympathetic half.
Yes, that's really cool. He's like, here's blood, reality, give me flesh, but never mind, turn all the flesh into dream. And he's fighting against himself.
It's almost also like a reverse like Bloodborne hunter kind of case, right? Where like the hunter that used the blood of the beast to fight the beast, but turn into the beast themselves. Now he used the blood of human to kind of like go back to the dream, but the blood turned him human in a sense, right?
It's the absolutely. Reality. It's like antithetical. It also that mirrors the conflict between the dream and the blood. That's a theme in here.
Yes,
as well.
An antagonist with itself.
Yeah,
it's developing like maybe some empathy in the way.
And you can have
getting
some kind
those memories of those people, and now like suddenly some of them touch him.
Oh, true. His whole dream thing means he's not only sending out dreams, but he's getting their dreams. Oh, that's cool. He's thinking like, wait, they're dreaming of happiness and love and life, and that's all very interesting. Like, you can still have dreams down here, like they're having dreams of what they would like to do in reality, not just dreams of what they'd like to dream. Like the fulfillment of the dream might be better than just having the dream. Maybe fulfilling it in real life is better.
He starts to see the elevated joy of like that goes beyond hedonism. You know what I mean? Like
interesting.
True love.
And it's probably been like a threat and a problem for this region for a long time. And now like he's still seen as that, even though like he's getting less proactive because he got like now a conflicting feeling about his own plan. But he's so invested that he's also got a sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
You made him relatable again.
Well,
that's good.
Relatable villains.
So as something more actionable and get me, the blood cocoon, or rather the blood hive, the hexagons, there can be a few of them that are essentially tunnels down into the mountain. So you have all this like blood and flesh cocoon tunnels and whatnot, and you get to the end with him, and you essentially get to, convince him, hey, real life is really good. We're going to give you some of our blood to pull you fully across the line to be a real blood person. Or we can just kill you, or we can give you dreams and send you back to the dream world. Like, have options.
In the same time, with all the bad thing he did, right? Like all like stealing those people's blood. Even if you have a change of heart now, can he be like let go? Can he,
he's gotta die. He's gotta die.
You're an abomination. How dare you?
He can't live with himself.
That's an interesting goal for the character as well, right? Like, how do you deal with this guy now? Like he's transcended who he was, but he did all this bad thing for this transcendation. So where's the guilt line?
You can have like a cleric of grace there. It's like, no, he is not the elf that did that anymore. Now he is a man, or like a half elf or whatnot. This is not the same person. You can't blame him for the crimes of that old mannequin that is no longer here. And it's like, no, that's the same body. It's the same guy. And they're like, no, it's not the same body. He has new flesh. See, like I'm going to stab him anyway. And
then at the end, the antagonist is like, give me the grace of a swift death and stop my suffering. And then the cleric of grace is like, oh shit. Grace can come in other ways.
I guess I'll bash his head in with a mace.
And then scroll.
That's interesting.
And then the scroll. And then we did it.
Cool.
Yeah, we did it. I think that's a cool villain.
I'm so glad we got fantasy, because if we didn't, I don't know what I would have done.
I wish we didn't, like, because like those also like meant to be like a stretch to creativity, right? Like to get you out of your zone of comfort.
We can roll again and get me out of my zone of comfort, but I'm glad I got to start off with fantasy, blood honey, and all that.
We're gonna roll again, but for a different.
We're gonna roll again. Would you like to participate in our wheel of rants? Here we go again.
Yes.
Here we go again.
As you can tell, I like ranting.
And there's always those topics always coming back in the role playing YouTube. So now we're gonna sell them once and for all.
Boom.
Sometimes suggestions aren't worth it.
Dungeons, yay or nay? Good question.
You want me to start?
Yes, you're the guest.
Okay. Yes. All right. First of all, we have a totally different take on dungeons. And first of all, we call them delves because dungeons are a specific thing in our world. Side tangent aside, because I can't help but have tangents. The whole point of a dungeon is good. It's cool. People like it. It's first of all, so restrictions bring meaning, right? You have to have something restricted in order to have something meaningful, right? You can't just have anything and everything. There's no meaning to it. So restricting movement, freedom, right? That's cool. Restricting power. There are monsters here. It's dangerous and whatnot. Restricting status. There are only so many NPCs and you're mostly alone, right? And restricting, actually, this is the opposite side. Expounding mystery. It's dark. You don't know anything, right? It speaks to the mythic underworld, archetypes in our mind. It's all very archetypal and good. So yay, I do like dungeons, delves, and all that kind of thing. But like so many things in the various hobbies today, so many are just not done well. It's too game. Oh, I'm going to make a map and I'm going to JQuay the map. I mean, yeah, JQuaying your map is cool, but what else are you actually doing, right? It's like it's too surface level, too mechanical, too. Well, here are the rules and the things I got to do. But why are you going into the dungeon? I like the mythical tapping into the mythic past and whatnot. That's good, but you have to do that intentionally. You have to say, all right, play. Like, this is what we're doing. We're trying to tap into this and feed into the fear and the dark and whatnot. That's why Shadow Dark is popular, because they have the same dungeons that everyone else does, but they remind everyone to actually treat it like a mythical dungeon, and then players are in the mindset, and then lo and behold, they enjoy it. Something like D&D, throw a dungeon in there, it's totally out of place. You don't feel any danger or death or mystery, anything. So, yay, dungeons. Dungeons are good, but just do it, like, go all in. Actually be intentional and know why there is a dungeon and why you're using it.
Mm-hmm. You want to go next, Max, or should I go next?
I can go next. I'll let you finish if you want.
Go ahead.
For me, like, okay, first of all, like in the context of RPG, dungeon often like they're not necessarily like a physical dungeon. For me, like a dungeon is a self-contained environment for adventure, right? It's like, so it can be a wood, it can be a well, like, you know, it can be like a mountain. It doesn't have to be like just like there's brick and it's a cave and it's underground, so like that. It's a mausoleum, right? You can see dungeon as more than just like an actual physical place. And I think a lot of people like have problem with dungeons because they see them too literally, right? And now they try to justify them in the world. Oh, I would be like this whole structure with all seed and stuff like that. And I think like Arch mentioned, like the mythical underworld, that's what it's supposed to be, right? When you delve into a dungeon, like you can have something that would have some reason to exist in the world as the entrance, but as you delve deeper, you're no longer in the real world. You become into a mythical underworld, right? That's the old term, right? So now the rules of the real world don't necessarily apply anymore. You can have things that are bigger in the inside than the outside and stuff like that. You go deeper, you're like in the root of the world. Now like the world just become made of flesh. You can go weird with it, and you should go weird with it. Trying to base them too much in reality, I think that's where they lose their interest, right? If you want to have a dungeon, I think they can be cool, but yeah, you need to make them they need to like they're a more symbolic place than actual place.
I think basically I don't like to redefine terms in that way. I agree that the style of play you're describing is good, but I wouldn't call everything you said a dungeon. I would say the classic dungeon is good. I would keep it as like a flow chart versus a maze, and make sure everything is role played in first person, and make sure you're perceiving it as appropriately, and then enjoy your delve. Make it hard to be in there. That's what I would say. And I think it's cool. I mean, Crispy's dungeon crawl was fun. I don't think I've ever successfully GM'd a dungeon.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah. That's all I got. I would say yay, but maybe. I don't have the experience for a yay answer outside of as a player.
It's funny that you talk about like redefining term, but the term dungeon, as used in role-playing game, is very much so a redefined term.
It is already redefined, So I'm just I redefined it up to that point, Dungeons and Dragons, and then after that, no more redefining.
Because that's not what a dungeon is in history.
It clearly means cave.
Dungeon? It's the strongest place in the castle. So usually it's the house of the Lord, right? The Lord of the castle. But
that's why we call them delves.
People like confuse the dungeon with the oubliette, right? Which is underground, the prison and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not what it is. Got it.
No, the misconception is like that medieval time, and now I'm going on a tangent that has nothing to do. We should wrap up the show, but like in medieval time, people would keep prisoner from war, right? Because like ransom was a big source of income, so they would keep prisoner from war. But when you keep a prisoner of a high status, you're expected to treat him according to his status.
Okay.
So you would keep him in oftentimes the best room of the castle. You would move on. Sometimes if he was a higher status than you, your prisoner, you would be to get displaced from your room because he deserved the best room in the castle.
Yeah.
So he was kept in the dungeon.
I don't know if did you ever see Shogun, the show? I don't know if you probably
you're a reader. The 84 War, the old one.
I liked all those prisoners they had. They were always kept in the nice house. It's just there were guards around, and you're not leaving.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. You kept according to your status.
Yeah.
That I like things
Answer.
like I think we need to include more of that in the role playing game as well. I think that's some aspect we don't explore enough. It could be an interesting avenue for role play.
Sure, of course.
And there are two big types of dungeons. One is, all your typical stuff that exists in the world, like a cave or ruins or, some actual underground structure like the dwarven halls where they live underground.
Yeah.
The other is the dungeon, the mythical underworld dungeon, right? I think calling all of them dungeons does a disservice. It's the same thing where if you call everything by the same name, you have confusion as to what it actually is. So in the same way, call story games and role-playing games different. In the same way, call all of those delves. Oh, you're delving a cave, delving a ruin, delving an underground hall. And then you're going into a dungeon, which is a mythic underworld thing, right? In my system, in my world, those are two totally different things. The dungeons
Arch is just giving away all the terms.
Yeah. I wouldn't call them like
fighting you for terms anymore. That's Arch's position.
I wouldn't call you like I wouldn't call them like dungeon in game wall, like, but they're like, for me, like dungeon can be like a mechanical term, like for game design, right? Just like
to me,
it's
to me, everything has to be immersive in world. And so there are only two things in our system currently that are not diegetically immersive. One is the numbers, right? I have a 15 strength score, right? That's not something one character says to another, right? And we just can't get rid of that. We use dice. They have numbers. You have to have numbers somewhere, right? And the second one is hit points. I don't have a better name for hit points, right? I could call it like blood or blood loss or something, because in my system, hit points are actual hit points. I don't do the silly abstraction, but like you could call it vitality or something, but then no one says, what's your vitality, right? They'd say, what's your blood loss? But I don't want to say like blood volume. Like, so I use hit points for now, but that is, if I can find a good alternative for hit points that isn't confusing or clunky or silly, then that would be the last unimmersive, undiegetic thing.
Daggerheart,
injuries or wounds.
I have injuries and wounds separately, but your hit points are essentially your blood loss. That's specifically what hit points are.
Good hit point.
Yeah, but they still use hit point though. They don't have a different term.
Is it? Oh, that's just the type of damage you take. That I think.
Some games do go away with or they, like I remember like the Marvel games, right? The phase rip, your stats were like you're average, you're outstanding, but
heroic,
then you
stupendous.
Yeah.
And we could do something like
that game with other like problem as well.
But yeah, I mean, people like numbers. And you do have to support the gamism aspect of it as well. Yeah. And numbers are really simple to do. 15 AC, I got a 17. Done, right? Yeah. It's like, it's average. It's hard. You roll the die and you're average at it. So you add your average score. So you're two steps below. Like, numbers are just simpler. So
plus average.
Yeah, plus average. It's like, we think in numbers. Use numbers. It's fine.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that.
But yeah, if someone can eventually suggest a replacement for hit points that literally means like blood volume, where you lose hit points, you lose blood volume, then I'll use that. But for now,
strikes, easy D6s, strikes.
Yeah,
blood volume, man.
That's a baseball kind of term, right? 3 strike you out.
3. Oh yeah.
Oh, I took a strike.
Yeah,
that sounds diegetic.
Yeah. How many quart of blood do you have?
Can I ask Arch one more question?
Yeah, it's time to wrap up.
Yeah, Arch, did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I had a great time. I enjoyed this so much.
Mr. Max, did you have fun?
I did. Yeah, it was a good. Well, we went long, right? That's a good sign.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
Thanks very much to the chat and all the generous people donating today.
Yes.
Adept Austin, MVP. Your name, how are you feeling? That's funny. Your name suggestions got me laughing all the time. I'm constantly looking at a new one. It was great.
Archmaster, I really appreciate you coming on. I had a great talk. Ever since I've started watching videos, I'm like, this is potentially the best game I'm gonna ever play. So I'm really looking forward to it, man. When it comes out, I should play the beta. Right, it's already out, the beta version.
Yeah, we're already making changes, making combat deadlier, adding bleeding and whatnot.
Super excited.
I do have a question for y'all.
We had fun too.
I have a question. What should I focus on my channel? What do you want to see? Because I can go more world building stuff where I started. I can go game philosophy. I can go game design of my game itself, which I don't think I should do. or I can go like, world building tips, tools, helping other people build their worlds. What do you want to see from me?
I would be more interested in. Oh, what?
I want to see you wrap up the archetypes first.
Oh, those videos are already scheduled. Those are going to happen. But
for me, like obviously, I'm much more interested in like a game philosophy and design, like especially like seeing like in design and seeing like I would love seeing like video like, oh, this is how this rule work. This is what the decision we make for that, and what we're trying to achieve, right? For me, those are interesting videos. I like seeing that. I think, and that's something that's missing. And you seem to, like I said, you seem to get it. You seem to have like an idea of like where you're going. So for me, that
I like the stuff you put out, man. I don't know if I'm the guy that is a good barometer of what sells on YouTube.
Yeah, Zarion talk about like a philosophy there.
Yeah, he says philosophy. I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Philosophy.
And another say you want to see actual play, and I think if you have like a rule in practice, right? If you have like you have the system, like that'd be good to see as well in action.
If in order to actually show that, I would pretty much
watch it.
Yeah, it's not that I'd watch it.
Yeah.
No, in order to actually show that, for now, because my players, first of all, don't have the system mastery, and they aren't 40 role players, I would essentially have to do like one of those skits where I film myself as all the different players and show you how it's supposed to be, because I just don't have the players in real life to actually do that with.
Probably would be more views.
Yeah, just recruit people from for like an online game.
Yeah, hit us up.
Just StreamYard.
Well, I mean, if y'all want to read the rules and have an online game sometime, I'm happy to run it.
Give us a primer.
Yeah, it's about as complex as 5e, like all things considered. The word count is like half, because we don't have these ridiculous sentences that just use 4 sentences to describe something that can be easily summarized, right? So I don't do that. Everything is concise.
That's surprising.
I know. You got me. You're totally right. But in my written word, I actually have time. The letter that I forget who wrote, but at the end he's like, "Sorry, I wrote such a long letter. I didn't have time to write a shorter one." Right. So like, if I have the time, I can make it concise.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. Next, should we tell people who's coming next or no?
Yes. Why not? Yes.
I got a big. I threw my line out. I reeled in a big one. No offense, Arch. You're awesome.
Ooh, no. I like big ones.
One of my favorite sketches I've had. But how to be a great GM's Guy Slandler.
You got Guy Slanders
coming on to our show,
dude. That's awesome. I loved Guy. That was
Guy
awesome.
too.
So next week we're gonna have like we're gonna not in 2 weeks because it's a fortnightly show.
Yeah. He's in Great Britain though, so we're gonna pre-record the
interview section and the credit segment.
But we will show it on our live show, and we will be live during the show.
Yeah.
Okay, that's still gonna be great.
Very cool. Very excited.
Good job. That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So thank you, Arch, for joining us tonight. Thank you for people that are gonna watch and thank you, Phil, for hosting that with me. Thank you, people on the live stream that watch live and people that are gonna watch on the replay. If you have a guest suggestion, put them down below. We try to cast a wide net. I want to talk, I'm trying to get out of the echo chamber also, like talk to people we disagree with. We have different views, stuff like that. Like I wanted to get those people that even like those big YouTuber, right? If we that just I don't know how to say that, like just say like the basic
mainstream.
Those mainstream, mainstream video, right? I want to talk to them and go dig to get a little more philosophy behind. That's what I want to do, really. I want to see like what's underneath, right? Yeah,
Matt Colville. There we go. Jenny D. We're gonna try and get Virginia D. Jenny D's grandmother.
Jenny's grandmother. Yeah. But like Jenny would be a good catch, obviously. But like we'll see. But now, like Guy Slender is gonna be a great one.
That's gonna be great.
I'm excited for that.
Make sure to like and subscribe and like the stream, like the
stream.
Anyways.
Yes, thank you all for hosting. This has been a blast. Very much fun.
Thanks for coming on, Arch. Everybody, God bless. Take care.
Take care.
Yes, God bless. Y'all have a good one. Good night.
God bless. Yep. Have a good night.